Stock futures are flat to slightly up to start this Wednesday session. This following a negative day, which saw CPI data year over year at its highest level since 1981. Core CPI was actually slightly lower than expectations. There was an early rally that we had, which was heavily reversed midday for everything to end just about 0.33% to the downside. The 10-year yield also pulled back off of 4-year highs. Oil futures rallied after China relaxed some of its COVID restrictions, with both Brent and Texas crude gaining 6% respectively, sending some oil equities higher. Individually, Delta shares are soaring after reporting a smaller than expected loss and anticipating a swing to profitability into the next quarter. JP Morgan is to the downside after reporting earnings this morning. Slowdown in deal making did hamper their targets. Jamie Dimon with some interesting comments about the economy, saying that there is a recession that is possible. But he's not predicting one. Bed Bath & Beyond also fall into the downside after disappointing sales were impacted by supply chain and inventory availability challenges. It is Wednesday, April 13th. TraderTV.live starts now. We're going to start things off with a look at that big board. The S&P is actually down 0.01%, but basically flat there in the Dow. The NASDAQ up just very, very slightly. You'll see the same thing with the TSX, which does not have much pre-market printing. Crude oil not up as much as we saw in yesterday's trade, but still recovering of 1% to the upside. $100 a barrel has been reclaimed, looking to see if it can hold that on some regained momentum. Bitcoin and Ethereum both leveling off as well after a couple of days worth of declines, holding those 40,000 and 3,000 marks respectively. So we've got ourselves an interesting turn here. We've got the first of bank earnings, certainly the first of I guess the big four that are going to be coming in. So we're back into the swing of earnings seasons here, and we're going to get some actual data to come through. So good morning, everybody. Let's buckle up.
Buckle up is right. This market has gone for a ride overnight. Hopefully we get that kind of action continuing into the open because, this is a long weekend coming up. Volume tends to die out fairly quickly. So hopefully we get some more activity, make some money, and then have a nice long weekend and come back refreshed next week.
Yeah. We'll do lots of that. We'll hopefully be able to make a lot of money today, or at least give you guys some good ideas on what to trade. I'm already long here. JP Morgan, Neil talked about those numbers. I thought the quarter was actually really good. We'll wait to hear what they're going to talk about. It's never a good idea to be into too many shares, when the conference call is going on and whatnot. But we like JP Morgan. A nice move down into 125. An absolutely disastrous print, really. Didn't think we would break this 127 here on the daily chart, but you are now below that and just hovering around. So we're right at these past lows, but this tends to happen on the bank. So, let's see what happens over the next, like I said, hour or so before we open up. I'm going to try to defend. It just dropped against me to 126.60 or so, and then went up to 127.40. So we danced around here back and forth. Now we're coming back down to the downside. I'm going to watch JP Morgan and try to defend it against 125. If that breaks, then we can regroup. But I thought the quarter was pretty good. We also have Delta on the mind as well today. That's about it. And the NASDAQ, like when I was driving in here, I thought, okay, this is going to be good, man. We're up that 0.5%, starting to go. We had a good rally off the bottom yesterday, but it doesn't look like today we're getting any healthy retracements here back to the downside, it looks like. So, my voice is a little froggy right now, but we're feeling good and looking ready to make some trades here today.
There you go. Gotta toughen up, and it's one of these things we got to do here. And I love the fact that you're going to be able to do that, Sean, because I remember it was a long day and lots to talk about. Before we get on, usually this is where I say good morning to Miss V. Now, Miss V is in the chat. She's feeling a little bit under the weather as well, so we're glad to see her still there monitoring the chat as always. And she'll have to hold off on day 2 of live trading. She was positive in her first day going live trading with us here. I'm going to make the obligatory look at Tesla on just for her because this is actually down and down below the 1,000 mark. Now, Elon is in the news one more time here, but that's not the real story. The story is that we tried to get to 1,000 in the pre-market and then just fell off about $15. And if you look at the afternoon, there was resistance at 1,005. Elon is in the news again because of Twitter, however. And the story being that there are some shareholders that are suing Elon Musk. We'll see if this actually gets anywhere due to the fact that they believe he did not disclose his 9% stake fast enough. You're supposed to file when you get to 5, so we'll see where that one goes. Well, I'm more interested in what we think about Tesla here. There's no specific catalyst, but seeing it reject off that 1,000, just curious if you guys have any take.
Look, I mean, I think that I still like Tesla. You guys know I bought that 1040, 1060, and I will be averaging into this name. And I think that there's a lot of good catalysts here, especially they were talking about splitting again. They're talking about a dividend. And look, I think those are all positive catalysts. But right now, again, the environment with the NASDAQ has been pretty bad the last couple of days. And Tesla, to be honest with you, has kind of held up okay. We do have that 1,000 level that we've talked about. I mean, it's Tesla, if you think about it, like back in November, we were 1,200. Then we were 1,200 again in January. Then we were 1,200 again here in April. And the same thing's kind of true for some of these bottoms. So until we really break, I don't think we're going to break this 750. I mean, I hope not. But, until we really start to change sort of what's been happening here, this is pretty much barcoding for Tesla. And I know it's not because, you get up and down 10%, 20%, and you battle in between here. But for me, Shanghai is coming down right now. I mean, we've talked about the major news stories with the whole city shutting down. They have their Shanghai plant for Tesla, so that's obviously not going to be a good thing when they can't get the guys in there to work. It's actually pretty funny. Like, it's getting bad there. I saw some stories there, people yelling out their windows and everything like that in the apartment buildings in Shanghai. Cops flying helicopters and drones around telling people to shut up and things like that. It's pretty wild in there. So I don't know. Until we get all that sorted out, I feel like Tesla will be going to the downside for a bit. And I think you just got to hold it out. That 1,000 mark, obviously very key. We've bounced off there this morning again. So if you get going, that's something to look at. Yesterday's bottom is going to be in play today at 975. I love those even quarter numbers. So 975 is a good one. 1,000 should be a good one. But again, Tesla just, I think if you're going to be in the EV space, this is the right name, and I would stay with it. I believe in Elon Musk here, and I just think that Tesla is going to continue to work, opening new plants. We know about Shanghai. We know about Berlin, Austin. So, hey, look, they're firing on all cylinders while other EV can't even get off the ground. So they've talked about supply chain, and that could be a little bit of an issue, but they also talked about them controlling their own supply chain a little bit. So, look, I like Tesla here. It's just, I don't know if it's going to be tradable to the long side on a day like today, so we'll look to see if you do get a breakthrough of that 975 or a possible short through that 1,000.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch Tesla. You guys know how I feel about $1,000 names. And on top of that, you look at the daily chart, you're like, where are the levels that I can work with? Because Tesla's all over the place. Huge move from 750 all the way up to 1150 and then back down to 975. And it is just taking off. One day on the 4th, it was up from 1070 all the way up to 1150, and then the following day just reverses and completes a full meltdown the next day. So we are going to stay away from Tesla. Again, it's not a name I was going to trade anyways, but at the same time, this chart, even if this was priced lower, it'd be very difficult to trade Tesla based on this chart. You're going to have moves that open up. If we get through 975, let's just say, because I believe right now we are we're trading about 984. If we get through 975, it opens a door quite a bit to the downside, but how far before we catch a bid? And that's the hard part to figure out on these daily charts. So I'm just going to stay away from it, and we'll find other names that are going to pop up, because this does seem like a day where there's going to be activity. Based on the way the futures are moving, there should be some volatility that should provide opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, let's actually jump into a couple of things. Look, I see you're in HPQ here, and it is worth mentioning there was an analyst note out predicting for HP that they're going to have full year sales $65.5 billion for the current fiscal year. Estimates were about 63 to 67 there. And this is going to be a year-over-year growth of 1.3%. Now, obviously, HPQ has been on the move recently. I see you're in position on this one. We're looking more of a technical type of trade here, Arun.
This is, remember, we were working with 40 last week.
41, I think it was.
Yeah, it was 40-ish. I was short 39 something, got out north of 40 and changed 40 half. I got out and then worked the short the following day. That worked out well. It's pretty much right around this 40 mark, which is where I've been working with for the last few days since I've been on the show. And I wanted to see some stability north of 40, and we never got it. We got it above, snapped back down next day. We tried the 40 again, failed, and this is starting to look more and more like a false move north of 40. There's a lot of selling up there, so why not? We got that 38 break, which would have been just below yesterday's 2 days ago, the low below from 2 days ago, and then we finally closed yesterday. So I'm continuing yesterday's trade, the setup from yesterday, south of 38 into 40, and here we are looking for a move maybe towards 36 and change. So that's what I'm going to go with. I go entirely based on technicals. I don't care about the name. I don't care about the direction. As long as there's a setup, I'm not biased either way. So we're looking at HPQ completely from a technical perspective, and I'm looking at a 40 failed move and see if we can't get back down to 36.
There you go. And Sean, I know you're already in JPM, and we can talk about their earnings report. Look, realistically, it's actually a pretty mixed report. And one of the things to point out about that EPS, because it was 263 per share, but the expectation was 69. Not always directly comparable, because there's always items in there that can skew assumptions get made that can skew that analyst estimate. But there was a little bit of a drawdown, sort of slowdown in deal revenue, which I think was going to be expected. They did approve their buyback plan, and I think it's because of that mixed report. Like initially, it dropped to 129 and then popped and was looking like it was about to break out. And then as I think people started digging into the report and then some of the comments came out, it's now sort of bouncing down towards the support lows that you got back in March. So JPM first to the banks to report. For now, the market looking like they're taking it as a little bit of a negative, but it just feels like there's nothing they could have done. That's what happened last cycle.
I mean, I'm really just kind of playing it exactly what you said there off that buyback. I mean, $30 billion buyback, share buyback. 30 billion? I mean, yeah, that's pretty decent. They have tons of cash. I mean, they were forced to raise up cash to get those loan reserves going. And I mean, it's just part of, what their deal is right now. So I feel like if you're sitting on cash right now, in this environment, you're not doing too bad. And let's see how they're putting it to work. They're putting it to work by buying back shares. That's great for shareholders. The move is to the downside. They reported, look, $4.50 a share a year earlier. Okay, fine, whatever. 263 is what they got, and they're expecting 269. So it's not horrible. Does it deserve to be down 3%? I don't think so. Not with that buyback. We are waiting to hear about more stuff from their conference call. Jamie Dimon will probably be saying something today, if not already. We'll find out what's going on with that. But yeah, look, deal making is going to be a down thing. So that's not good for some of those deal banks like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. So I think they'll be more hit when they come to report. But even right now, we're 50 cents in the money on this long. We tried to get longer down here at 126, just missed us. I'm feeling like we try to hold out for that 125 area. Banks do this, man. They get hit on their report every time. I mean, we've sat here and watched JP Morgan over and over again, and I'm not going to be able to, I should find the day they last reported, but they get hit and then they rebound. So, you're going to have now 4 or 5 days in a row of all the big banks coming. JP Morgan starts it off. I don't think it's horrible. Down 3% is not great. I feel like this is a buying opportunity for the biggest bank here in the U.S. And I like the environment for banks right now. Where else are you going to put your money other than cash? And I just think that, they were starting to return some dividends to traders. They have the $30 billion buyback. It's gotten absolutely killed. So from 170 down here to 127. And then this is kind of the support that we talked about yesterday on the show here around 120. So look, I mean, unless there's a big monster collapse, like if you can get back into the 100, like I just look at it and say, if you're going to buy a stock right now, down about that 25% from the top, or maybe even a little bit more than that, you're getting a discount on this name. I like the banks in this environment. I think a lot of us do. And I feel like they're the best bank there. I think you can get maybe some better value as far as, PEs and the way they can move with a WFC or maybe even a Morgan Stanley. But at the same time, I like JP Morgan here for a day trade anyways. I will be picking some of these banks up as they report. So I'm looking to get into possibly that XLF, which gives you all of them. But at the same time, I'm already in Goldman and I'm already in JP Morgan. So I think we'll be looking at those two names more specifically. I want to buy JP Morgan on any move down, and I'll probably start right as soon as this show ends.
All right, I'm going to look at JP Morgan from the opposite side, which is the short side. I'm not going to go for it here, but I would want to essentially go for shorts if we can get $1.50, well, $1.50 to $2 on a bounce. So here we are trading at 127.20 and change. I'm going to wait around the 128 halves into the 129s. Reason being, we're underneath this little, multiple attempt at 130, trying to get underneath, stay underneath. This is off the daily, going all the way back to early March. So we finally got underneath. If we look at the 60, we know we're trading underneath at about 127. So anything that gets us back into that 128, 129 area, I'm going to take a shot at on the short side. I think technically it's there for a short, but not now. You got to have it come back quite a bit before the shorts are in place. So I'll just wait further back and see how much juice this has to the upside, because I am noticing banks are starting to stabilize, specifically JP Morgan, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is also another one that's down quite a bit. Goldman Sachs was falling hard earlier, and I wonder if it's actually, no, it's still kind of down there. So you have options, but I think JP Morgan, because it's front and center, that's going to be where the majority of the volume is going to play today at least, and it's got the most amount of volume done, so why not go after it if it bounces to the upside?
Yeah, and remember, we get more earnings coming through tomorrow morning as well. We started off the show, or at least one of the notes made this morning when we started off the show was the oil rebound back above 100. Actually, oil futures trading up 1.5% at 102. So there was that big bottom. We talked about this on Friday with Frank when he came on, and now you're getting this solid rally off these lows. It was a good run yesterday. I mean, if you just if you're trading this, you bought the breakout that happened in CL here. It was pretty clean at that 99, and then you never really pull back from the top. I know sometimes we like to look at the equity. I'll look at Oxy, but Arun, I want to get your thoughts in particular on the oil futures. Oxy now holding above that 60. The equities gave back all of their gains when oil futures were holding those highs. So there was a bit of a disparity there, and it was just better to be in the futures yesterday. Yeah,
so crazy thing with crude, we've been talking about crude recently, this week especially a little bit more since we were in that 95 area. Now that we've bounced, clearly from Monday when we were down from 198 all the way down to about 94 and change, we got as low as 92 something. Remember, as long as they held that 92.15 to 92 even, there was stability there, and we caught it, and it's rallying. And now, at this point, if you didn't catch it around that 95, it's gone. That trade is gone, and we're right back into that channel. And it just goes to show, when I'm watching crude futures, and then I also need to get gas for my car, and obviously it's not one for one in terms of movement, but at the same time, you can somewhat get an idea of where gas prices are going to go based on how crude trades too. Usually with a delay, especially if it's to the downside. I was waiting after Monday. I'm like, man, I need some gas, but this thing could bounce. Let me see. Gas prices never changed yesterday. And then today I'm like, oh, it dropped by a little bit. Okay, given what crude looks like, and I know how much upside it has, I figured that, hey, let's pump some gas today, because I don't like the way crude is looking, because at some point, as prices catch up with the way crude's moving, we're going to have to deal with higher prices. So I just got some gas because I feel crude, it does have some space to the upside. Obviously, the relationship isn't perfect, and there's the delay, and it's not, that's just the relationship they have with each other, pumps at the prices versus crude prices. But at the same time, if you see this thing has like another $2 to $3 to the upside before we hit resistance, that's a problem if you're thinking about your own gas price or gas for your car, right? So I'm thinking 105 is where we start looking potential short side movement against the 110. So we've got to either work with 110 or we got to work with 92-ish, and we're sitting at 102. Too far away from either side, so we're going to let it be. If it's the upside potential, let it go. It's got to go another $2 to $3 before we can start looking for shorts. And of course, that 92 is about $10 away. So there's nothing to do except for letting it ride if you have the long. If you don't, you just stay out, wait for it to make a move to either edge, and then you work it. And I'm noticing, Neil, there, you're at the big screen. And I noticed that a big name that I use a lot, Netflix, getting some action there.
Arun, of course, always spoiling the upgrades and the downgrades. Maybe the most exciting one. Well, I don't know if it's exciting to catch a downgrade, because Netflix caught downgrades earlier on in the week. We'll start with the green side of the border. Well, not everything's green. Albertson's actually down a little bit here, but they did get an upgrade from Bank of Canada, the Royal Bank of Canada, I should say, RBC. And we talked about them, of course, post-earnings. Not a horrible report, but got beaten up on their earnings. TJX getting the upgrade as well, price target 85. Hershey's up 1%. Deutsche Bank there with the upgrade for them, and Vertex. But you're right, it is the left side of the board that I think people are going to be paying more attention to. JD.com is going to stand out there. They got a downgrade, and Netflix 2 days in a row. This time by Barclays. There has been some concern. Of course, analysts have been saying when they're shutting down in Russia, that's going to be putting a strain on some of their revenues going forward. Twilio also catching a downgrade. You'll see all three names are slightly to the upside. It's Bicycle Therapeutics, down 13.5%. That's SSR. Smaller name, but that downgrade weighing heavily on that stock.
Yeah, I mean, you got really excited there about Netflix. That was exciting. Yeah, look, downgraded there today. Netflix obviously not working the greatest in this environment. We've talked about some of these big names, but Netflix actually makes money. So for me, I don't mind buying some Netflix down here. I haven't yet, but I mean, if this is going to be a name that you're looking at, a new content coming, Squid Game 2 coming, it seems like they're dropping more and more content every single day. Oh man, my wife said for me to mention the show Ultimatum on here. I don't know, I've never seen it. I said,
oh, I know. My wife watched it the other day. I know exactly what it is.
She said everybody who has a significant other would know about it.
Yes.
I said Neil wouldn't, but I didn't know you would.
My wife finished the season.
What, you heard of Ultimatum, Neil?
No.
Exactly.
Why won't I like it though?
My wife finished that show in 2 days.
What is this?
Yep.
Well, actually, to be fair, apparently the show's not done.
Oh.
There's some episodes left to come out,
There you go.
but 2 days for all the episodes that
Oh,
are
no.
out.
There you go. So you see, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, so ultimatum. But anyways, if I had an ultimatum to buy or to sell Netflix, I think I'd buy at these levels. I mean, I know that there's going to be some downgrades coming. If you zoom this out right now, 320, like you're into these levels here where I feel like it's like a can't miss buy down here. But I mean, with that being said, there's a lot of great levels. Like we thought AMD would maybe hold that 100, right? Netflix now getting downgraded. I don't even really know why. Their reach still isn't that large. I mean, they still have a big footprint to put in India. There's a lot of the emerging markets still to go. Obviously, maybe it's the price points that are some kind of effectiveness there for those markets. But I also thought that they were going to maybe do a more affordable version of the streaming service where they put ads up. So maybe instead of paying the $14.99 a month or something like that, they may run an ad before, every time you log in or something like that. I would never subscribe to that, but there are people that want the lighter versions, and therefore it works well in apps and things like that, where you could get free versions that are supported by ads. So I feel like that'll help them with their reach, and the more reach that Netflix has, the better it's going to be for their business. Period. So I like Netflix in this area, and I just think if you look at the chart, I mean, could we go lower? Yeah, but is this not a horrible spot to start? I think it's a decent spot to start to buy, but I'm just talking about long-term investments here. As far as a day trade is concerned, you never like when you get downgraded, but the fact is that they're still up right now on the day. Obviously, it's only 13,000 shares, so we'll see where it goes, but I don't mind Netflix for the long term.
Yeah, the only reason I brought up Netflix when Neil was standing there is because what do you think I do when I'm not here and I'm in studio? I'm in a trade and then waiting and watching Netflix. We're learning Spanish and then watching Netflix. That's my day. For anyone who's wondering, hey, how does your day go? Yeah, watch Netflix, learn some Spanish, and wait for a trade to work out. That's how it goes. Neil.
I mean, to be honest, I kind of just thought that you were like moving tires around and like chopping trees down or doing like a rune-like stuff. I don't know, or maybe recharging yourself because you're an Android. I don't know. Yeah, you probably should. But he's saying he should have recharged himself. But look, the futures are pretty much flat here, and I think obviously we've had a bit of a sharp pullback in the last little bit. I mean, the SPY down, from the 460 down to 440. So I mean, the Q's bounced off that 200 period moving average. But really, the last couple of days have been a little bit of sideways action. So the question is, I guess, what are you looking for in the futures today? And if you weren't in the studio, would this be a Netflix day because you don't think we're going to move?
What are we talking about? Sorry.
Futures.
Futures. Oh yeah, futures.
Something that you might trade every once in a while.
All right, let's go to the futures. Yeah, I honestly thought based on the way we were trading yesterday, I was like, oh, there's a real good chance that the future sets up in a good way, like a decent way. And then I come back to this nonsense. I'm like, really though? Yesterday was great. Obviously, we were working this zone here, this top end zone from about off the CPI. It was pretty much from 35 all the way up to 65. I was averaging shorts through there, and then got out and then got back in, and we rode that one down all the way down to the 80s, right? Now we come into the day and we're too far away from working this zone because we're trading at 93, but then there's actually a decent amount of action down below 80. We tried that break yesterday in the afternoon towards the end of the day, and that 80 held well with a decent amount of volume. Would I mark that as a support level? No, but at the same time, I also don't want to short near it. So I don't know really what to do down here. As long as the market doesn't bounce, if it bounces back into this zone here, I'm willing to now work 25 through 65 on the short side if we can get a bounce. If we cannot get a bounce and we decide to continue another 10 points, now we're sitting at 43.90. If we continue another 10 points, then it's going to have to be a touch and go situation where you just let the market go, see how much volume develops at certain levels, and then see if we can jump on board at some point, because it is not an easy look down here. It's tough to actually catch any trades, at least the way I look at it. I'm sure scalpers are thinking, going, oh, you know, there's tons of opportunity, but I'm not a scalper, right? So I got to wait for this market to either get back into this 25 to 65 area or break through that 75 low from yesterday. So the 43.75 low from yesterday, then show me what it's got, and then maybe we can figure out something else, because I am also wondering how much buying is left, because you look at the daily, you're going, man, we get through 75, which would be right here, then we got to deal with pretty much action all the way until 50, and my next closest support level is 4,300, which is 90 points away. So we're not even going to touch this until we get to 4,300. So there's a lot of space to the downside. That's why I was hoping to avoid this little mess here north of 44.15, because I would have used that as my stop overnight, but nothing going. It went as high as 25, 27 or something like that. It went as high as 28 even, and 28.50. And here we are back towards 90. So we're going to wait this one out. Either go back up into the 20s or break through the 75 and set up some new levels that I can work with.
There we go. Got to have that update every single day. We love it. It's really all about understanding where the levels are and where the market could possibly go, but also understanding what can move on a given day. And that's why we bring out our free watch list, and we're going to get into that rundown right now. Watchlist.tradertv.live. You can also scan the QR code, see what is moving and what is actionable and what is going to be leading things off in this market. And speaking of actionable, Delta reported their earnings. They're going to be first name on the watch list here. They are up. They did post a loss of $1.23 a share, but it was smaller than expected. Actually, certainly the bigger story, I think, for Delta is they are anticipating being profitable in the next quarter. So big turnout for them. They're expecting, of course, they're projecting to recover to 93 to 97% of pre-pandemic levels. That's for travel. Up 5%. They've given a little bit back here in the pre-market, but I see what looks like a pretty solid breakout on the daily chart here, above about 40.25. Question is, can they hold it? Other airlines are also up on this news. AAL looking pretty strong so far this morning as well, being dragged up by Delta.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about the watch list there. I'm in JP Morgan, obviously, right now, and I just want to give everyone an update. We just bounced a few too many times here at 128. Like, we're long at 127. It stopped here a couple times at 128, so I'm going to put an offer here around this 128 level to just get out of at least some of the shares anyways that we have, because now you're falling back down. It's still not too much volume. I mean, well, it's 1 million shares. It's actually decent, but you are starting to fall back down in a little bit here with JP Morgan. I should have took it out. I wasn't even paying attention. I was too busy talking about Netflix right there to notice all these tops, but we came right back to VWAP here and touched out. So watch out for that 128. If it does spike up there, I'm right at 128. So it's not like I'm trying to get out 70s or anything like that. So let's wait to see here. But yeah, I don't even have Delta on here as any sort of an idea. That the sticky note is out. We have Best Buy. We have Bed Bath & Beyond, Softy, JP Morgan, AMD, and Ford all on here with little discussions of some of the stuff that we like. So hit me up. Sticky note is now available. Valerio will post it, and so will I. So find that at Trader TV Sean. But look, I mean, Delta, I got to sign into the chat now because I cleared my cache. Okay, so that's not going to be good. I have to wait for that. Yeah, DAL. Look, we talked about buying the Jets ETF. I think that's a better play than buying individual airlines. But Delta reported a pretty decent number. Obviously, they're up that 5%. I still worry. I always have been worried about gas and oil futures and things like that for these guys. But they hedge out properly. So, we've done research on that, and maybe that's not that big of a worry. But look, it's broken out. So if you're trying to play strength in the market, I think you have this bottom right here of $40, which we're coming into right now. We broke out this top right there. That's 40 clean. So I think it's worth probably testing. I mean, if you come back in to this 40 level, you get that little support there of it on the daily chart. Doesn't look super sweet here because we've already traveled up here. Just a couple weeks ago, we were already at $44. This report does not get them to $44. And again, Delta Airlines, big international flyer, on a move back to this world, getting COVID back to where it needs to be, and getting people back flying, visiting, taking international flights. I believe it would work, but again, here's 40 right here. You're back above the 200. You're back above the 50. There's so many names out there that aren't even near these levels. So I think your money is pretty safe now in some of these airlines. And I would just look to say that's a nice 5% move for Delta. Maybe it's American is next. I mean, they're all going to come out reporting. We already saw with Spirit last week, with Frontier getting involved in JetBlue. So look, I mean, these stocks seem to be working right now. American off the bottom of 1650, looking like some upside here, up that 4.5%. So to sit here and say that there's something wrong with the airlines right now, it doesn't appear to be. It's a great report. Let's see where we go. And like I said, man, relative strength compared to the rest of the market, yeah. I mean, Delta's been 1, 2, 3 days marching to the upside here in the last 3 days, and then continuing that move we'll see today. And then I don't think we'll test a 45 or anything like that on Delta. That's 10% more up. That doesn't happen today. But it's a nice move, and I think if you're a shareholder, I would just sit on the shares that I have and be pretty happy with the performance so far.
I agree with you on Delta. Nice little break through that 40, sets up a nice long. I'm not going to pay up where we're at right now. I think it's 40.5 or some, or yeah, 40.56 on the bid right now. I'm not going to pay 40.56, but I would like to get it as close as possible to 40. So I am going to put a bid down here around the 40 marker and see if we can get a move on the way down off the open, and then put the stop. If you can blow through 40, 39, and 38, that takes out all of this previous resistance. I'll walk away. I'll take that $2 hit, walk away. This is worth a shot. If we can grab that 40, put up $2 in risk, see if we can't get it back to 42, that's a one-to-one payoff. I'll take that shot any day of the week, as long as the setup is solid. Somebody was asking, why am I always short HBQ? It's one of those things. It's just the way I trade, right? I work one specific level, and then I don't forget about it. Just because it's not in the news, it doesn't mean I forget about it. So HBQ was in the news a few days ago, and it was around a specific price. So I've been working that specific price, and until we walk away from that price, I'm gonna keep working that price pretty much. It's just that one thing. I don't need to go with headline to headline. I can stick with the stock as long as the technicals are there, and it sets up. The headline gets you focused on it, right? And then if it gets to a place where you can continually work it, and I think a while ago, somebody saw me, we were trading one specific tech name for like a week straight around a specific price. And that's just how I trade. It's like, once I get that price, I'm going to work that price until we walk away from it.
What I agree with you. And to be honest, I think we've all done it before. I've seen Sean pound here to key level multiple days in a row. I've traded a firm like for an entire week off of a single level. Sometimes you just see something, and if it gives you the opportunity on a daily basis, you should go ahead and take it. Now, we haven't talked about PayPal in a while, and the news wouldn't seem like it would cause a gigantic reaction here, but PayPal is down after the CFO is stepping down to join, actually to take the same role, CFO of Walmart. So John Rainey's going to be out. Gabriel Rabinovich is the interim CFO, as they're going to be putting a search on. But also, Susquehanna's slashing their price target to 125 from 200, and citing concerns about their ability to meet guidance. Some headwinds when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, but rate pressures, a tough e-commerce market, these are the things that are weighing in on PayPal. And like we said, if it was just about the CFO leaving, maybe you wouldn't be down this 4%. But it was actually accelerating to the downside even just recently, and it's been a few days worth of risk, downside risk, and it's approaching $100. If it breaks that, you've got that support down in the 90s that it made in March. But PayPal very, very weak this morning. The price target cut. And the concerns about meeting guidance, probably the bigger story here, but also, of course, losing a senior executive as well.
Yeah, and PayPal's actually the first offer I put out. I am looking for shorts, but I'm not going to pay. There's no way I'm paying 103.50. That close to, not that close, but I mean, we're 100. 100 is like $3.50 away, and the closest stop I can use is 110, or not even 110. I want to use 111 as my stop. Actually, this one's wrong. That's the stop I want to use. This is a 60-minute chart, by the way. So if I want to use this, I'm not paying 103. I'm going to try to get it as close as possible to 106 because I'm okay with the $5 hit on PayPal given the potential back towards 100 and the setup I'm getting I'm looking at. On the daily I was looking at 108, but obviously 108 is a little wishful thinking there. So I'm not going to go after that 108. Preferably, I would have liked to get closer up to here because after yesterday's close, man, this set it up nicely for that continuation move. But we're not going to get 108. I mean, we might get 108, but at the same time, I'm not going to hope for 108. I'll pay up to get the shares, so I'm closer to 106 and change, putting up 111 on a stop. Look for a continued move, and I think this is one of those trades where you put up the risk, and if it doesn't work, you're okay with it because of how it's moving and how it's setting up. You just got to eat the loss if it comes that way, but this is worth the shot, in my opinion, for the short side.
Yeah, I mean, if you get shorts up at those prices, I think it's great, but it's about time. I mean, these guys should have got fired, and this head should have rolled a hell of a long time ago. How does PayPal go from $300 all the way down to $100? And then this is the first time I've heard of any sort of a management change whatsoever. I'd like to see the CFO gone, which is what's happening today. I'd like to see the CEO gone. I'd like to see everybody gone out of here. How is nobody calling for these guys' heads before this? I don't know why this isn't loading back before this, but PayPal was higher than this as well on the daily chart. It's just been an epic fall. Its high was about 310 on PayPal, but just straight down to the downside right now. It's absolutely disgusting. I like the short call because you're below the 50 period and you're starting to trend down. So nothing wrong with that one. You're at 103.50. I don't even think the short is that bad right into here. But again, I'm going to play the other side of it. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to talk about it. Like, management has just driven this company into the ground. So hopefully now, I almost want to short Walmart if this guy's going over there, to be honest with you. I look at that and say, you know what? Maybe it's a good positive thing. So if you are trying to take a spin, first of all, we are very close to getting out of our JP Morgan. It just touched 96. I don't know how that's possible when I'm sitting at 95, but I digress on that one. Okay, so anyways, PayPal, I just want to say that, a change in management sometimes can be a good thing. We saw what happened with PaySafe. They got that change in management. They spiked up about 20% that day. Obviously, PaySafe is not the beast. I wish it was. That PayPal is, and you're not going to get a move up like that. That was a CEO change. This is a CFO, but still, I think it's a move in the right direction for PayPal. I'm still a shareholder in this name, but wow, this was my call in 2020. It went from 100 to 300 and right back around. So it's made its full trip all the way back down. I still think it's a buy at some point here. I like the business, and I think they could, if it gets low enough, and it's going to have to get even lower than 92, but Jamie Dimon's talked about, one of his biggest mistakes was not getting involved in Square or PayPal or maybe taking them down when they got the eBay spinoff and things like that. PayPal, of course, is one of those Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, brought that to the market back in the day. So I feel like, you do have Silicon Valley here. PayPal should rally from some kind of levels. And I just think it probably, man, in this environment, tests lower. Not good news, down 4%. I think it can rally. I just don't know if it's going to rally today. And if it does get into that mood, I mean, you're going to have to break, I think, yesterday, 107 and change before you get interested in it. And I know that's where Rude's looking for a short. So I think you play the ranges today. But, hey, PayPal's getting close to a buy for me. Let's just see how the market reacts to some management changes.
Well, if that's how we feel about PayPal, I think the Bed Bath & Beyond is going to be interesting. Look, they swung a loss here, 92 cents a share. Last year they actually turned a profit. Revenues came up short of expectations. A 22% fall, only $2.05 billion. And comp sales were also down. But I think some of the headlines that are coming through in the call are the reason why it's now down 12%. When we were writing writing this one up, we're still trading around 17. And just a couple of things that have come from the call. Industry trends have worsened since February as macro market volatility and overall consumer uncertainty has surged. At this time, we do not have an update on the work to be done by our board to unlock further value at Bye Baby, which is something a lot of investors thought was going to be a good growth sector for them. Quarter to quarter, comp sales are running negatively in approximately a 20% range. So those are some pretty rough headlines coming from the call. You can see clearly it's SSR down 12%, and the tumble in stock price is reflecting some of these comments.
So, I mean, even before that, I already, I came in and I have an offer right here, man, 1780. And shout out to Chris Schrum. Thank you for bringing that up. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Yes, sir. We'll hit the siren alert because we just got that 95 print that we needed a while ago. I looked over and was like, how did we miss that? But it just came up and hit us again. Must have been some dark pool wicks, but now we got run over. So good trade there. Got some 95s out anyways on JP Morgan for that dollar take right there. So out right now on some JPM. But let's go back over to Bed Bath & Beyond. So I'm trying to short this name up here near 1780. I think it could pop up. The short squeeze could be on. Let's just double check. I don't think Neil mentioned the short float there. Let's have a double check. We checked yesterday. It's 21%. So, that's a decent number. It could bump up on that number. But again, down 12%, the shorts win again. So could there be some short covering? I feel like every dip down, you do get a little bit of covering there. So that's kind of what I expect. In case it rips up, let's defend this $18 to the short side. And then if we do really, really get serious, then I feel like a take of 19 is where I want to get out. And you look at a daily chart, I mean, we talked about this yesterday. I said the risk was to the upside. I still think that's right because, I mean, no one's going to be, are you going to go long? Like, we didn't talk about that this was going to beat or anything like that. It's always going to be about that short squeeze with Bed Bath & Beyond. I said that maybe there'd be possibly be some kind of corporate restructuring or something like that. None of that happened, some sort of a shared discussion. Apparently none of that's happening as well. You do have a nice bottom at 13. We could even test that today. So if you get anywhere near $13, $14 on a flush, I think it's worth trying. But again, the numbers aren't good. Neil just read them down there. I mean, they're horrible. They expected a loss. They got a loss of 92 cents when they expected a 3-cent profit, Arun. Like, what's up with that? Obviously, supply chain. By the way, if you ever watch Saturday Night Live, one of my favorite episodes, sketches ever, is called What's Up With That? It's with Kenan Thompson, and the guy's a host of a show, and it's hilarious. It has Jason Sudeikis dancing in the background. It's absolutely hilarious. What's Up With That? Look it up on Saturday Night Live. One of my favorite skits, really. I don't want to say of all time, but of recent time. It's been a while since they've had anything, But anyways, Bed Bath & Beyond continues to make marches to the downside. I want to short this name, and I want to short it in front of 718. So that's what I'm doing in case we get a pop. But what's up with that?
It's a good question because I'm going short. If I can get, I've got offers out on Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm not going to go for it here in sub 16. I like the way it's moving through that 16 from the top. When we got through there, that 27, sure, but then in pretty much from the 23, which would have been April 5th onward, that downward trend, that second leg here, as we accelerated through that 17, that had to be the level that held. 17 through 16 had to hold, and here we are underneath 16 after putting in a 1530 low. On the way back up, I'm going to look to fade, but I don't want to price it sub 16. I want to price it in between the 16 and 17 to work with this resistance level right here. So for me, I'm going to try to catch a short inside and then have to put the stop just north of that, pretty much outside of that whole band there. So around 20 or so. It's going to be about $3.50 in risk. It's crazy because I've been to Bed Bath & Beyond once, and I'm like, man, this is really like, as someone mentioned in the chat as well, man, this is like really light on traffic. There isn't a whole lot of people that I saw in that store at that time. And I figured on a Saturday you would have more people, but viable business, I guess, or it was at some point, but it is really light on traffic. And I don't know how competitive they are in terms of pricing either.
The only inside of a Bed Bath & Beyond I've seen was in a terrible Adam Sandler movie, and he's The front half of his career amazing, and of course SNL, but I actually forget the name of it. But they feature Bed Bath & Beyond. I've never been in it myself. I think Lucas might remember it, but I want to get to big tech here. And I think a lot of times we have this category and we're thinking about Apple. We're thinking about maybe Netflix. Of course, they're in the news with another downgrade, and they're part of it. But yesterday we mentioned Alphabet being at a pretty solid valuation. It's been under a ton of pressure. It's closer to its support than I think a lot of these others. And they actually came out today saying they plan to invest $9.5 billion in U.S. offices and data centers. That is an increase from $7 billion last year. So here's a company, like, we know where to put our money. We're going to invest in ourselves. There's been a lot about buybacks recently. They are, of course, doing that split later on in the year with Amazon, but it has been a pretty big fall. We've got 3, 4, 5, 7 days in a row in the red for Alphabet here, and we're getting very close to this 2,500, which has been all kinds of support on the daily. I know that's just one particular name, but they did stand out because there was a bit of a positive note that, hey, they feel like it's worth investing in themselves.
Look, I'm going to hit this. You got to have diamond hands if you're going to be trading in the tech space right now. I thought we were going to talk about Microsoft because we did find some good longs yesterday in Microsoft. But yeah, we can go over to Google quickly. I mean, look, it's not, we never day traded here. For us, the spread is too big, but it doesn't mean you can't day trade it. I think it's day tradable. This is part of the reason why they are doing that split later on, 15-1, I believe, for Google, because when it was 3,000, no, it's 20-1. Yeah, because when it was 3,000, it was going to go down to $150. So, okay, yeah, look, I think this is a monster opportunity to buy them. I don't see them failing anywhere. You're going to always have issues with the DOJ and things like that, and they're never going to be able to buy any companies. I think they just recently closed with Fitbit, but it's like Facebook. They just have to grow within themselves, figure out what's good, and get it going. This bottom here, if it breaks, like that's 2,500, like that's not good. Like that's not going to be good for the market. That's not good for anybody. So I'm very nervous about that as being a possibility there, breaking back below this 2,400. It's held. You got to go back to January. Then it held in the in the dips down earlier on, and really been just hovering here. A nice move back up to basically all-time highs, and now you're just fading back out. So 25 is where we're at. The all-time high was 30, so you're not down too much from those levels. But again, a 20% move down in Google is still nothing to bat your eyes at. I believe this is a buy. I was talking about this whenever I was using like a perfect example of just investing. I can bring this all the way back as far as it goes. This is the 50 period. Only one time back in March of 2020 did we dip below this 50 period, which was right into here, where we based out at $1,000. Believe it or not, like $1,000. So it's tripled since March of 2020, right? And then it just rode this 50 period. You had one little dip there, but other than that, that's a dip of 1,500 down to 1,400. So that's nothing. And then you have a nice move all the way up, just respecting this. And then again, a little bit of a dip when we talked about some of that hawkish behavior back in November, where everybody was selling off. Then it comes right back up, makes all-time highs on their earnings report, which just happened in February. All-time high on their February earning report. We're only in April right now. And then you get that cut back to the 50 period, spending some time below right here, and then making a move, and now we're below again. So, hey, I think this is a buying opportunity, especially if you're not in Google. I don't think there's anything wrong with starting a position right now. I believe the split's happening in July. It could be June. But, I feel like that's enough gas right there to get the stock going as we approach June and July. So, hey, I'm a buyer of Google, and I mean, I don't think they're doing anything wrong in this environment. But again, tech is what it is, and they shouldn't be affected by the supply chain. The Pixel, with both Arun and I now own, that demand seems to be skyrocketing. We know about that. You had to switch your phone. Mm-hmm. You wanted the white, you had to go to the black, I believe, because you couldn't get it. So I believe demand is still high for that segment. And yeah, I'm interested to hear. And that's actually the earnings report that I'm most excited about is Google. I'm a big shareholder. I do have a position in Google, so I should let you guys know that, and I will be buying more on any dip, including perhaps today.
Yeah, Google's the business model. Everyone uses Google. It's got its own term now. Like, you don't just search for it, you Google it, right? So, I mean, that tells you a lot about how big this company is in our daily lives, and so that makes sense to have it as part of your portfolio or whatnot. Now, as a trading vehicle, intraday-wise, Listen, if I'm not going to trade Tesla at $1,000, I'm definitely not going to trade Google at 3,000 or 2,500. So it is a dicey way to trade because it is very thin and very volatile. Yes, it's a great move if you can catch a $40, $50 move, but again, volatility is a factor. Liquidity is a much bigger factor, and then the ability to read the tape becomes that much more difficult because there's not going to be that much volume per level to work with. So the movement is there. It's just very tough to get a handle on it, and that's the only reason I don't trade these expensive names. Not because they're the price point. It's because liquidity becomes a big issue. If you're trying to work a position and you're trying to read volume, how can you read volume if no one's willing to buy large portions, right? Because they can't. No one's willing to put up real risk to take a ton of shares. And then can you ever trust individual levels because of how much spreads are going to be at these type of prices? So that's the only reason I don't trade these expensive names. So I stay away from them. But as an investment vehicle, definitely Google's a good one to have.
And Sean, I know you're still in JP Morgan, and it has gone to the upside a little bit here. But the story, of course, was after they reported, they did sell off. And this is exactly what happened last quarter when the banks reported their profits. Look, $8.28 billion, nothing to sniff at, $263 a share. But compared to last year, they had $14 billion, $14 billion, 4.5. Obviously, it was a bit of a miss in terms of expectations. Net revenue is 30 versus 32 last year, but they did a 30 buyback there, which I think is a big number. Obviously, we have other banks to come. We know inflation's at those highs, but the truth of the matter is JP is the biggest lender out there, so that bodes well for them. I think the fear might be that, with the Fed being aggressive, when the yield curve flattens, that overall is not good for the economy and then not good for some of the major lenders. So that could be the fear here. But they are catching a little bit of a bid, as you've already mentioned, and bouncing at least around that previous low that we had in there in March. So, JP Morgan, maybe let's just go over this one more time here as the first of the banks to report. And so far, not so great.
What's up? And wishing well wishes, obviously, to Valeria, who just has a headache. So let's not get carried away with anything there with Miss V and not. But okay, so look, first of all, let's have a quick look at the imbalances because you talked about JP Morgan. So I wanted to call it up. Obviously, on earnings day here, I expect something to be here for JP Morgan. There is. It's right here. It's a small sell. So it's 112,000 shares. That's nothing. It's already done 1.12. So you're talking about less than 10% of volume to go. And the paired volume is only 73,000. So definitely nothing here on the imbalance locator this morning. And when we sat down, Arun, myself, and Neil all commented the fact that there didn't appear to be a hell of a lot on here. Okay, so also we're looking. People mentioning that Joe Biden's in the hospital. Honestly, when
I would figure that'd be much bigger news and be all over the news sources.
No, but even so, what I was going to say is I don't even think that's big news because he has COVID. I'm pretty sure they talked about Nancy Pelosi had COVID and was giving him kisses or something last week. So, and first of all, why is Nancy Pelosi kissing Joe Biden? Do you kiss your coworkers, Arun?
I mean, do we need to go into that?
Right, exactly. So anyways, let's just move on that side of things right now. Okay, but anyways, moving forward, if that's true, I don't think that's a market-moving event. So if someone wants to confirm that, fine. But you saw when President Trump had COVID, he went immediately to the hospital, got the Regeneron cocktail, and got the heck out of there. I assume President Biden would be getting a similar treatment. So if that is the case, then that is what that is. Okay, so that's JP Morgan. Yeah, I already got out at 128. And so part of it was I got out of half there. I actually got out of 2/3 of the trade. It was not a heavy trade at all. I just wanted to see where we were dancing around. We've already respected that 126 level. I'm going to use 125 as a buying spot for us on JP Morgan. So we'll see if we can get back into here, 120, so on and so forth. But yeah, 126, 127. I'm just going to see. We've already tested this bottom. So we've already been down here. So that's really why I'm seeing, is this just a flush? Because yeah, their numbers weren't great, right? But the thing about it is they have that monster buyback, 30 Bs, man. So, I mean, when you're talking about that, that's a big one. So I'm excited, $30 billion in buyback. They have a lot of money. They're very, very profitable. They're a major bank, and they're sitting on a ton of cash. And in raising rate environments, banks are supposed to be able to capitalize on that. In Jamie Dimon, I trust. I'm a JP Morgan shareholder, so I should say that. I'm a shareholder at way lower levels than this. I was buying this thing at 100, at 80 bucks during the pandemic. It did go to the upside. It was a big winner. They have now obviously given a little bit of a dividend back to shareholders. So I'm not talking up my book here. I think you can get JP Morgan lower. I've been saying this yesterday and the day before, that instead of picking a bank, you could actually go into XLF. That might be something. Bank earnings are on deck. So, hey, if you like JP Morgan today, I think you nibble, and then we see what comes with Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Morgan, and the rest of them, Goldman, when they come later this week and into next week. So I think if you're a buyer of the banks, nothing should be stopping you right now. Obviously, deal moves are down right now. The equity market is not great. I said this yesterday. I didn't expect equity trading to be very good for these companies, and it looks like on their report it's not. So, hey, I'm a buyer of JP Morgan until I'm wrong, and I want to buy banks on every dip. So, hey, I'm going to be adding to some JPM.
All right, JPM, I'm in the opposite direction. When you said, oh, we're at 128, I was like, oh, I'm close to getting filled because I'm going for the short. Now, I'm looking to play 128.5. We talked about this earlier. It's a technical read off the daily. The fact that we are now underneath all of this. So I'm going to try to fade it back as we get into that 128 and try to work these previous support levels out and see if we can't get a move. I'll get out. The stop on this is going to be north, let me see, I think it's 132. Yeah, it's going to be about 132 and change. If we get above 132 at that point, then I got to give up on the idea that, hey, you know what, these previous support levels, they're going to hold, maybe not. So for now, we're going to go after that mid 128 into 129 area for the shorts on JP Morgan. A bounce would be very, very helpful because now after staying at 128, we bounced all the way south of 127 into 126.70, and then now we're back at 127.45. So JP Morgan doing a lot of action back and forth here between 128 and 126 in the pre-market. Hopefully get that move and get a fill on the short side. Neil.
Here we go. Got one small cap for you. Briacell here. They got FDA fast track approval for cancer immunotherapy therapeutic. But the bigger story is where we fell off from yesterday. It is a low floater, 12 million shares float, so you got to be careful with any shorts. But it fell off pretty aggressively around this 11 to 11.50 area, and you can sort of see it's been on a bit of a strong run breaking out. And I look at this 11.25 that we've had a double top. So you do have the spike up on the news, the catalyst. You pulled back, you got a lower high. I want to work a short off of this 11.40 area. If it breaks and breaks above that price, I think it's all bets off until you test it about 12.50. So it's already made a very big run into this news the last few weeks or so. That's why I'm going to be favoring the shorts. But you've got to have a stop. That first stop area is going to be a hard stop at that 11.50 off of the open, and then we can retest back at those highs.
So another name, yeah, good look there on BCTX. Always looking at some small cap names. Good idea every day. Yeah. So here, I actually like Ford here breaking out. It's on the sticky note. We talked about that the last couple of days. I haven't really traded it very much lately. It's been kind of choppy, but I'm really excited about this 1580 level, honestly. And again, I don't know why my charts don't load all the way back, but I don't need it to. This 1580 level, it was a stop spot there where we stopped on the 5th. And then made a move down, gap down, and then now you've bounced off this 1580 a couple times. It looks like the NASDAQ and all, I mean, maybe all the markets right now want to continue to the downside. What is the ES doing? The ES is already red. So, yeah, maybe this is not the day for Ford. But I wanted to keep that in mind because we do have that 1580 level. And again, if the market's going down, I really don't want to catch any longs here. I don't want to the only longs that I'm trying to catch. But anyway, just keep that on your mind, 1580 for Ford. If the market really starts to rally, that's a level that I like. We will look at Ford if it comes back into like 1460, 1470 down there. So let's put a bid there right now just in case it does dip down. So that's going to be Ford. But the only one I wanted to buy, and I talked about this a little bit before we head over to Google. I don't know who's ringing the bell. Maybe we can get Pepperoni Tony over there to ring that bell because Ms. V is not in the building. But yesterday we had some great buys, and unfortunately the wicks and the candles are back here, so it's not going to look that epic. But yesterday at 280, you guys, thank you for watching us in the afternoon show. It was a really fun one, and we had a great time and some great trades. But I like those 280 bids. So we bid the 280s, the 280.50s. We took them out at 282.50. So we had a nice $2 winner at the end of the day on Softy. This is the only name that I want to buy defending that 280. And if we break 280, then I'm gone, and we can revamp it from there. So I'm going to watch out for Microsoft. That's the only name that I have bids on right now is Microsoft. So, and I have a lower bid on JP Morgan, 126. So JP Morgan bidding 126, trying to sell Bed Bath & Beyond, BBBY near 18. I'm going to try to make this fast so you can give some ideas as well, Arun. Bed Bath & Beyond, that short up there, and then bidding Microsoft and JP Morgan, looking for AMD shorts.
Yeah, the only one that I haven't talked about already is my Walmart position. I just took a long on Walmart. I'm continuing yesterday's trade. If anyone was watching yesterday in the afternoon, I ran out of time. Remember, we got to be flat on our office because of our we're a day trading firm, right? So we got to be flat by 4 o'clock. I ran out of time and I had to give up on the trade. So I'm just re-entering the same trade pretty much at the same price I got, 153 even. I'm going to give it to 152. If we lose that, then we're just going to walk away, call it it's a 2-day trade, but it's the same read. So hopefully that one gets going today to the upside as we got about 20 seconds left. Futures, what are you doing? South of 43.90 again now after attempting 43.95. Back to south of 43.90.
And here we go. I got the bull going today, so let's see if it's good. There's Pepperoni Tony. He's in a good mood here with only 5 seconds to go, so let's go. Here comes Tony with 3, 2, and 1, and hammer that thing. Let's get going. What a great guy. I really love that guy. Tony, great effort, great attitude, everything. Tony, a great addition to the Toronto floor. That is for sure. Much love for you, Tony. Thanks for that little dance as well. Get that shimmy going, baby. Okay, Ford, waiting for that to open. Not much happening. JP Morgan is falling down a little bit. This is fine. We are bidding 126 flat. There it is. Sorry, 126.20. We just got into the position against the 126 flat. I'm just going to wait until we break through 125. That's it. It's a pretty simple story here for me on JP Morgan. We have the long now. Whoa, a nice little long to the upside now. We'll see if we can get that out maybe around 126.70 or so. See if we can't cash in on that. Bang! There it is. Yeah, let's go, baby. It's a little bit of a move right there. A nice little 70-cent win for JP Morgan. We've cleaned that one out again there, so that's a nice little bid. Let's see if it wants to go higher. We are going to average in one more time now because we got out. So if we can get this a little bit lower to 125 and change, we'll do that. But there's JP Morgan already feeling like Superman. Shout out to Ms. V. You're still in our thoughts. Get well soon. Bell, that's my dog. Get Bell soon. And we'll move forward with that one. But nice little trade to start the day there on JP Morgan.
All right, Walmart on fire, $1.53 in the money already. Remember, we just continued yesterday's trade, and this is exactly why you do it. In our case, because I ran out of time, is why I just re-entered the same position. So we've got Walmart up $1.50, $1.60, HBQ up 19 cents, and then DAL just took out 40, so we're out about 7 cents or so right now. For Walmart, I am looking to cash out some in front of 155, so that's going to be an exit target for me on a portion as we run up to the upside. Futures now bouncing off of this 43.
Thanks.
87. Perfect. What is that? 86, 87, 87-ish. Now we're at 93 and change. And Walmart. Come on, Walmart, a few more cents and I can get a fill and walk away from this and take some profit on as we get that one going. I've got a bunch that are now that have hit the alert. I'm just going to put it, I can't talk about all of them right now, but Etsy, Shop, Coin, and Upstart, all of them breaking to the downside. 112, 590, 140, 150, and then 84 as well on Upstart. So here we are looking to see what we can do on those shorts.
Ooh, baby. Yeah, it's a good one today for Arun and I as we're rocking and rolling. Great trade on Walmart. We got the same long on JP Morgan, $1.80 in the money now for JP Morgan as that's starting to go. Man, we're long at $1.40 in the money. We're long at 126.20 right now off that bid, man. We talked about grabbing those 126s, and that's why we review it, and that's why I believe Trader TV Live needs to be on your watch every single day. Not only that, man, it's also on the sticky note right here, given to you the exact trade that I was going to make, and there it is right there. Hit it. We like it so much. We hit it twice right there. Boom, 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 boom. And now we're trying to take out the highs. It could still fall, so let's not get too carried away with where that's exactly going. Let's check out Microsoft here today as well. We're waiting for a little bit of a dip buy for Softy, MSFT.NQ. It might come in now, man. This is getting to be a little spicy here. It's bouncing around. I got to zoom in a little bit more for this one. It just touched down 281.50. My bids are lower, like we said, man. I'm at 281 flat. So if that can come in, we'll try to take that as an offer, as a bid, sorry, to get in there. And then I'm going to respect what happened yesterday, man. That 280.50 held. So if the market wants to be sick again today, wow, JP Morgan's still working to the upside. If the market wants to be down today on tech, then yeah, we'll be sitting there and getting out if it does not hold 280 flat. So we're still a dollar before we get into Microsoft again. The market's coming back down. This is the NASDAQ right here. So as it's respecting the bounce for it, like, look at this. NASDAQ up off the open, right back down, retesting those bottoms. So it retested kind of highs there, and then we got into that bottom right now again. So the NASDAQ looks like it's heading to the south side. But JP Morgan, hello, as we're walking on some dollar signs right now, $2 in the money as JP Morgan continues to rip. Darn it, I wanted to buy this thing today. Hopefully I get an opportunity around these levels. Even lower would be nice, but we do not buy shares while we're on the show with you, just what we show you here live trading. How's your Walmart working out, my friend?
$2 in the money.
$2.
And we cashed them out already in front of that 155, so that's your entry here. At one, I got a wicked entry, actually. I don't even know how I got this, Phil, because 153 in the pre-market, there's only... Yeah, there's only a few prints down there, and I got my entries down there at 153, and then cashing out $2, and here we are letting it ride, $2.20 in the money. All of them are in the money, by the way, even the short on HPQ, so that's up 12 cents. Dow is up 30 cents. Walmart's up $2.30. I've got about 6 of them that are 6 alerts that have gone off that I'm setting up as well. So I'm thinking upstart to potential short south of 84. That's an option. Coin south of 150. It's flirting with 150 after hitting 148. Shop is definitely on the table. I was looking south of 590, but this thing has already gone $10. So I don't know if I want to play with Shop anymore because of it's starting to look. It's trading in a way that a $1,000 name would. So I'm going to actually remove Shop from my list. I don't like the way it's moving around. There we go. We got that JP Morgan short just in front of that 128.50. That's the short that I wanted from earlier. Etsy is an option as well, south of 112, but we kind of snap back into 112.50. I'll keep an eye on that one. BA to the upside, taking out that 180. Now, I want to talk about BA because I actually really like BA. I've been watching BA around that 180 mark for a while. And if we can just stay strong above 180, I want to take a shot on the long side on BA and see if we can get it north into that 184, 185. That's one option. And then CVNA on the short side, but it's bounced decently well. I'm thinking south of 98. It's trading 99.50. This is why you wait, right? This is why you don't jump the gun on these type of trades because they snap back right off the open. There's a lot of volume that comes in. So I'm just going to ride the ones that I have, the 2 shorts, the 2 longs, all of them in the money, even JP Morgan short in the money, 23 cents. We're just going to wait this one out and get some more clarity on what to do with these other names. Neil.
Yeah, quickly, just have a runner here. Small float CTRM, Castor Maritime. It just broke out past $2 here, took out yesterday's highs as well. It's on the way to a big level on the daily at $2.30. So big time run. No catalyst that I was able to see just yet. So it does look like it's a little bit more of a social media chatter and early start to the day for that CTRM. PayPal also, by the way, making a bit of a bounce off of its lows.
Okay, so we are also into a new position right now. It's Apple, and we're short. We just took a little bit of a profit spot on that. We're short at 40. We just took a 26 bid right there. We averaged it in, man. We started off early right there. We took a much bigger position right there at the 50 period. Look at the NASDAQ, man. It's starting to blow up. So, hey, if it takes out 168, we're gone. I mean, I'm just going to use an even dollar value there for Apple. But we noticed yesterday, although yesterday afternoon was a great day, we shorted Apple right there at 167, took that 40 cents, then got out for flat. Then we reversed into the long and took some nice 60, 70 cent winners off the close there before, obviously, that nice little rally that we saw into the close. But right now, I'm just going to say Apple, you know, still red into a positive market. So let's just see now. I feel like, you know, again, this is not a name that I ever want to short. But as you're looking at the NASDAQ, we know the kind of weighting that it has, but this is heavy. Like Apple is now below right now what the NASDAQ is doing. So let's try to trade it a little bit here with Apple and see if it does fall back in to some levels that we like. And I mean, I think we can retest some of these bottoms from yesterday, especially if I mean, it all is going to depend on the market, right? But Apple can lead the market. So that's the whole point, is that if Apple's going to be weak, let's see if it flushes down here. And if it doesn't, we can get out of the way. I mean, that's the whole point of this. We'll just reverse this out at 168. I'm looking to get another short if we do approach near 168, but my out just for today is on that level. So if it breaks through 168, we're going to be out of Apple. I did want to look quickly at AMD as well. That's starting to go back up to the upside. So we have actually canceled my offers for AMD. Maybe today is the day. I was sitting here at 97.50 yesterday into this into this level right there. 97.60 is that top. So maybe if we accelerate up to that side, then fine. But the problem with that trade would be is that my Apple would be completely dead. So I'm just going to focus right now on AAPL as it's bouncing around a little bit right now. Doesn't seem to want to get below this 167.30 mark. I don't know why it's dancing like this right now. And look at Apple, just literally barcoding right now off the open. When's the last time I saw Apple move like 10 cents off the open? That is making me a little bit nervous because the first break looks to be to the upside. Look at the NASDAQ, man. It's screaming now long. So, yeah, this Apple probably gets cracked through 168 because right now it's starting to now catch up a little bit. Apple short 167.50. Looks like we'll be taking a 50-cent hit if it does go back up to the upside. But for right now, I got my eyes on Apple.
All right, Walmart coming back in. So now it's gone from a $2.20 winner to a $1.23, but I've locked in profit around that 155, and also the trail stop is now just south of 150. Well, it's 153 and a change. So I'm locking in, regardless, I'm locking in like 40 cents on the remaining portion, even if it comes all the way back. On top of that, the JPM short that I took, that's $1.40 in the money. Upstart, I just took $1 in the money. HBQ short, 5 cents in the money. The BBBY, we talked about this one earlier. 4 cents out. That one's flat. So we're just going to, and DAL flying actually, well, if you call 30 cents flying, but it is moving strong. It's a $40 name. I have very little in terms of hope for huge gains, but 24 cents in the money. If we can get going back towards the highs, we have a chance to move. So far it looks like the longs that I've picked and the shorts that I've picked are doing well regardless of what the market decided to do. Market decided to move up 15, 16 points. These shorts are working out well. Upstart almost, well, it was almost $2, close to being $2. But okay, let's actually talk about Upstart, why I went for Upstart on the short side. Downtrend into the open. We just took out that 84 level, which was the low around, 85 was the low around the 15th of March, and 84 is where I kind of marked it off. I'm thinking, hey, we have a shot at 80, and then if we get a chance at 75, that's going to be huge. But I think 80 is going to be the first look on Upstart to the short side, regardless of what the market decides to do. So here we are, just kind of riding that Upstart wave to the sell side, $1.58. And man, let me check in with BBY. It seems like there's some decent strength here. Why am I?
Is there?
Yeah, because I mean, like that one's like 40 cents out. And yeah, see,
I
went right after it at 16.50, but I'm also working a huge range, right? I'm working a massive range here from 16.50. I'm working this entire zone, so it's gonna. I should expect this as it goes through 17. It can even hit 18 before it starts to actually activate some sell side. But we're gonna ride this one through here and let the longs and the shorts, the other ones, except for Best Buy, or not Best Buy, BBBY, Bed Bath and Beyond, work itself out. Neil.
Quickly, we've got a trade halt here for GNS here, Genius Group Limited. Commenced trading on NYSE American, formerly the AMEX under ticker GNS, just yesterday. It just broke up, and yesterday's top was at 34. It just broke to that level just now, but it is currently halted. Looks like it's, I saw an information request. We'll double check on that, but a current trade halt on GNS moving quite heavily already this morning.
Now they're all deciding to turn. All the shorts that I had that were deep. Well, GPM decided, you know what? We don't like 127. We're going to bounce from 127. Upstart decided the exact same thing. Hey, you want $1.50 or $2? Nah, not yet. Maybe we're going to go back up to the upside, back towards that entry price. So that one's flat now. Walmart still coming down with the market extending now to 44.10.
Yeah,
and like I said, regardless of what this market does, I needed to enter this range. Upside is good because that's the only location where I have potential shorts sitting, potential short areas waiting, right? Which is going to be from 25 on to 65. So if you want to go another 15 points, sure, I'll take it. Because if you go down, I have no option. I don't have any levels to work with. But on the short side, I have some overhead levels that I can play with. So here we are kind of waiting for this one to go up a little bit more so I can actually work some future shorts. But in the meantime, I've got 4 shorts, 2 longs on equities, and we're just going to ride this one out. And damn, is Bed Bath & Beyond taking off to the upside. Damn, wow. Did not expect that kind of strength off the open on Bed Bath & Beyond.
No, we have officially now reloaded, and yeah, we were able to get out. Like, that came right back into our area. We didn't get out of everything, so it's going to be net a loser if we take out 168, of course, as right now Apple just screams to that high side right now. It just looked at 168. Looks like it's going to take it out, and we're going to get out. Like I said, I just don't want to be part of this. Like, we could hold through this level, but again, the NASDAQ is really screaming to the upside, and we don't want, there it goes, and we don't want to be short Apple, so we will flush ourselves down the toilet on that one, but we were able to take a little bit of profit, but at the end of the day, the average in does not work, and now it comes back in. So we're going to have to watch out for Apple. Just yesterday it was weak, and then it was weaker than the market today, as you see the NASDAQ screaming to the upside. Watch, I just made the high there on Apple probably. But as long as that keeps on going to the upside there, I think that you can see Apple. What was that tick yesterday? 168.20. I might just get right back into this one. I did miss out on Microsoft to the downside there. Let's get back into Apple quickly. That might have, I'm just going to use that level right there, 168.30 right now. We did reload this, so you know, we have a decent position on one more time into Apple. So let's see. We just take the same shares again. Let's see if we can work it back down. All this needs to do is fall like 30 cents and we're back into the money on Apple. But right now, this market taking off to the upside. So our Microsoft was a good idea at one point down there, and just we didn't get long enough or long at all. My bid on Microsoft is 281.50, 281.05, sorry. The low was 281.30, so we almost got into it, but we didn't. We know we want to be into a strong name, that is Microsoft. But what about Facebook? Facebook's been strong too for us recently. Let's check out a quick 20-minute chart if it does load there. It has that bottom. What does it look like on the 1 minute? Yeah, still nice bump upside for Facebook as well. So Meta making some nice moves here today. It just resisted that 215, so let's see where it goes from here. But hey, those are good names to look at. And then I don't know what your Bed Bath & Beyond is doing. I was going to look at that. My short was going to be near 18. So I don't know if you're considering loading up if it gets back up there.
It's at 17 right now. Just
oh, it just did flush? What was the high?
I have no clue.
Okay, let's have
1740 something.
50, okay, I was at 1780, so I don't have to worry about that one. But AMD, again, barcoding a little bit here at the top. This might be the name you want to short, but again, you're up that 1.21%, so more aggressive than the market today is AMD. But we just got into this level right here, 97, 97, 50 or so. So if you can get into that level, not we're just there now, but if you can get into that level, then, you know, we do have some upside resistance there. So let's just wait to see. I'm short the big guy here, which I hate doing that, but Apple right now, look at the NASDAQ, man. I was not, honestly, Arun. I don't know if you're in a futures trade or not right now, but I did not expect this for the NASDAQ today after what we saw yesterday, so it looks like we'll take another hit here on Apple.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, though. With the prices where we were sitting, based on the activity that we got yesterday around the 80s, I'm not surprised we bounced, but at the same time, I wish that we had bounced a little bit more because I can actually work some shorts at better prices. Because essentially for me, it's like I have no long bit areas to work with. You see the longs that I'm carrying, right? Walmart and Dow, and then JP Morgan was an overnight move. But then I'm carrying Upstart and Bed Bath & Beyond at specific prices, but I've got a bunch of other orders waiting higher up. So those are the ranges that I want to play with to the upside. So I am looking to fade. For anyone who's wondering, yeah, I am looking to fade. But at the same time, it's a really, really wide range, and my time frames are much different. So I trade on a much larger time frame, so I am going to be holding on to these a little bit longer than maybe most people would like. But here we are waiting on 7 and probably a bunch more that are waiting. I think I got like another
everyone yelling
4
about AMC
5.
here.
AMC, of course. Neil.
Yeah, well, a couple of things. AMC on the move. NanoString Technologies is about to make a bit of a breakout. They're down 32%. They did report their results, trying to break out that 23 even. But if I can quickly slide on over, Bed Bath & Beyond just broke, or at least attempted to break that 175 as well. I do see AMC here, guys. There's no... I'm going to tempt fate by actually trying to do this live by moving back to it. No particular catalyst, but that is breaking, or at least attempting to break the high of the day right here at that 1775. I just quickly double checked. I didn't see anything on the wires. Just looks like one of those whip off or wick off bottoms when it tried to break 17 even and maybe track some shorts.
Wow, this NASDAQ is just like exploding here. I'm honestly, I'm going to get out. I'm still long into JP Morgan. That's $1.50 in the money. But honestly, we've obviously lost more money trading Apple than we made trading JP Morgan. So, yeah, this looks like it's going to take out one. We just went short again against that 50 level, which is right here from yesterday. And it looks like we're going to take it out right now. Wow, just to have gone short, just to have gone long Apple or anything long tech, big time movements today into this space. So, wow, good for you, Apple. Go upside there. And look, we've got it in our account. But yeah, today's short not working out so well on that name. But yeah, good call there on Bed Bath & Beyond. I want to look at NIO, of course, here again, as it just did that dipsy-do again. Down to 19, back up to 20. 20's been a level that we've liked to short. So, hey, man, maybe this market does turn around for NIO and we can get a short on here. So let's take this again. We took this yesterday. We just missed the opportunity to get it into the 80s. So let's take it now. I'm going to put an offer into the 80s right now. If we can get a mid 80 print, we'll take that one more time. That's not one more time for the first time. If that's the high of the day, great. But if it can bounce just a little bit more into here, then we'll look at that one more time. And then against yesterday's high of 20 and change. Again, if the market falls down, there are some names that we know we wanted to be short. I thought I wanted to be short Apple. I am short Apple. Doesn't seem to be working. Maybe Neil will have the same fate again, but we have that 20 top right there. And then in the pre-market today, not much volume in the pre-market, but it did tick up to this 2010. Forget about these wicks. It's 2010 there. If it comes back up, that's kind of the levels that we'll have to respect here for NIO. And I'm not going to get run over like we did 2 days ago. We made a lot of money back yesterday as we went short here at these same levels for NEO. So this is yesterday's short here at 20. It fell down to 1940, but right now NEO looking a little strong today, up 1.62%. Let's see if we can get a fade play here for end of the IO.
Yeah, as you can see, my board is getting larger and larger. The more this market moves to the upside, the more shorts I'm picking up. So this is just like yesterday. I'm either going to get run over badly or this is all going to turn around and my read that I have in this area is going to work out well. So here we are with 2 longs, 5 shorts, 3 orders pending. So 7 right now with 3 more to go. Everything's, everything can handle itself. So I'm not too worried. That's also the max. I think being on Prad's show, I probably have a much higher limit. But on this show, because there's a lot more happening, I got to be a little bit more, I guess I got to bring the amount of shares, or not shares, but the amount of stocks that I can actually hold lower. So I'm going to say 10 is going to be my cutoff. And then
Why do you have to do that?
I can't handle all of
because
this.
of the action in the day.
Yeah. I can't handle all of this.
Yeah, no, that's...
While talking about it, yeah, that's just way too much. So for now, we've got...
Of course, now the market...
HPQ is out 20 cents. We also picked up Crowd, which is at $1. JP Morgan, $1 in the money. Upstart and BBBI, decent strength to the upside with the market. That's out a bit. Well, not a bit, it's out $1. And then Dow flat, and then Walmart long $1.50 in, and that's protected too. So I don't even have to worry about Walmart. We just got to let it go. We cashed out $2. We locked in for 40-something cents on the remaining portion, and we just got to figure out how we're going to handle the rest that we have at the moment. And Apple, Sean, you have Apple, I believe, on the short side. I'm trying to join you. I have an offer, but it's not here. It's a little bit higher. So if Apple wants to go a little bit more with the NASDAQ up 0.75, I'm willing to take a shot on Apple on the short side as well.
All right, if you're willing to trade into the shorts, and I'm going to up my stop a little bit more here. 168. So here's Apple. We are short. Yeah, and we're short into NEO. Let's go. NEO right now. We talked about this trade. I'm going to take a little piece out if I can here. And by little, I literally mean that. If we can get something at 75, we'll take out 20% of, no, not even. A little bit less than that, 15%. Damn it. Darn it. I mean, it just went back down to the down upside right there. But right now we are into NEO. It's bouncing here. We'll take a 75 bid if we're lucky enough to get it. And then just on that talk, yeah, I'm short here. My average price is right here, 06. So we're flat on the Apple trade. I can change my mind right now. But yeah, why do that? This is a play that we like. I agree with you. What price did you say you're looking to get short? Like at these highs, 50-ish?
No, my offer is closer to 169.
169. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to hold it that far up, but okay. We'll regroup on Apple if it does go back up to the upside. But down goes NEO right now. That looks like a great trade for me, but we have NEO waiting at the desk.
Yeah, Create ID just popped here on volume. CRTD up 35%. It just touched this level on the daily chart before reversing a $1.30. Looks like this is another low float runner, about 20 million share float. No specific news. On the AMC front, there was an earlier report 3 hours ago. They acquired 7 locations and 66 screens. If that's going to cause the move, fair enough. But that was the only news I saw on AMC. Now Create ID is taking out this 130. If it gets any higher than this, it could get up to this 150 mark. Psychological, 165, 170, a much bigger level on the daily. This one's screaming now.
All right, so I went through my board. There's one that I was trying to get filled on. Man, I'm not getting it, period. So I canceled the order. So I guess we're not going to 10. Maximum. We're going to leave it at 9 possible positions. INFY, I was trying to get filled in front of these 22s. No fills up there, nothing doing, and it's already broken down through 21.27. That trade's kind of gone at this point. So I had to cancel that one. That one's not going to happen. So we're going to let this one go and find something else that we can potentially take. For the time being, we've got Dow, Walmart up, and then the shorts, obviously, with the market moving up, these shorts are getting run over. But I'm working inside of a specific range. That's fine. If they got to take their time, they got to take their time. But Bed Bath & Beyond coming back in now after running strong off the open here and taking me for a ride from here all the way up here. Now north of 17 even, now we're coming back into that 17 mark. That'll put me 50 cents out. We get a final rotation through that 16.5. We get a move, and then we can get going to the downside on Bed Bath & Beyond.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of some Apple if it does fail. Down. Wow. Look at J.P. Morgan. First of all, bang on that one. $3 now. $3 in the money for J.P. Morgan off that 126 bottom. So that's just an incredible trade for me right there. I know Arun's kind of going the other way. Look, I don't necessarily believe in the bank today, but I'm impressed with that move upside. We'll see what happens here. It's going to fade back. You're not out of it yet.
Nope.
No. So it could fade back down. There's no doubt about that, but definitely working to the upside right now. And I don't really have like a target for this. You're still down that 2.5%. I told you on the sticky note the kind of levels that we were looking at for right there. Why did I just get more short into NEO? Oh, God. Okay, NEO now starting to go to the upside. Like, I have a little bit of a problem now, and that is that it's just we're getting a little bit overexposed to the short in case this market rips. Like, I'm short NEO, and then I'm short the big dog here as well, Apple. So I don't, and again, it's not, we're not even close to being scared of any of these positions. It's just that the market today is looking like it wants to stay up here. It goes right back to the pre-market highs of 14 again. And the problem is that we're bouncing, 14.1, I guess. But the problem is that we've bounced already off of 14,000. So that's, something that here we had a chance to sort of break right there and stop. You see the action around 14,000 right there on the NASDAQ, but it came up and it just ripped right through it like it didn't even matter. So, that 14,000, does it get tested again? I believe so. I mean, I'm short. This is part of the rhetoric here that I'm talking about. So let's go. We are now short NEO. We are now short Apple. I do have some bids in Apple to see if we get lower into the 80s here. So now we're starting to take this down. So let's come back into the downside here. We've just reloaded NEO. It's a pretty big position. Trust me when I tell you that for me on NEO. And part of it is I am trying to seek a little bit of revenge on NEO for the past, days. But let's see if we can come back in here for NEO. If this market collapses, I think we got the right names on here. We're short Apple. Man, we're cooking now, Arun, on these shorts.
Oh, it's coming down? No.
Yeah, the NASDAQ's coming down now. We're cooking. We're cooking with said gas right now,
man.
guys. This is not propane, guys. This is natural gas right here. Let's just see what happens now. Just kidding. The market's not falling that much. But let's go over to Neil. What up?
Not tanking is Gap. Shares up 10%. Now, there is activist chatter online. Nothing confirmed whatsoever. There's no official news stories out there. We saw this happen with a firm the other day, and there was no solid action there. But yeah, Gap, it does have a decent short interest. We've talked about that before, over 20%. But Gap making a run at $15 here and up 10% on significant volume. It is just online chatter, activist chatter. But Lulu had good news and had a strong run in the morning yesterday. Now it's Gap's turn.
Yeah, I'm just like, come on, market, why? Don't go without me. I've got shorts, but I want more. I got 2 more orders that need to be filled specifically on PayPal and Apple. So a little bit, delay this move. If you're going to go down, just delay it a little bit so I can get the fills on those 2, and then we can get going to the downside if that's the direction that you choose to go. But I am waiting for a couple more fills, specifically on Apple, just south of 169, and then on PayPal, south of 106. So waiting for those to get filled.
So you know what protein is on sale around Toronto?
What's that?
What protein do you think is on sale around Toronto?
What do you mean protein? Like protein powder?
Like what protein? Like meat.
Oh, meat-wise.
What did we have for lunch yesterday?
Chicken?
Right, today's lunch. Chicken with mushroom and roasted red pepper fusilli.
Oh, we didn't pasta today?
With a pesto cream.
That's not healthy.
That's not.
I'm gonna definitely need to go for a walk
That's
after
not healthy.
that.
So I got the lunch, but you know what? I'll throw a little bit on there. I like the mushroom and the roasted red pepper factor there. I like the chicken as well into that. So that's fusilli Jerry. You guys know Seinfeld? You seen the fusilli Jerry?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Good episode, though. I know Neil would know all about the Fusilli Jerry episode right there. Okay. All right. Let's just review some of the trades that we just made. NEO, big banger right there for NIO as it just started to fall down. And again, like I told you, man, we're trading more shares and scalping. The market is giving us scalps right now, so we take what it gives us. I'm holding out, man. We're holding out. We still have 50%. We only got out of half here, which is still a big percentage of the position right there. But yeah, what's up to Seinfeld there? I mean, I don't know if there is ever going to be a better show than Seinfeld, but whatever. That's what makes the world go round, right? Everyone has different opinions there. Definitely not The Ultimatum, a better show than Seinfeld. I like The Office, though. What is your favorite sitcom of all time?
Sitcom of all time.
You don't have to think about it now.
Yeah, I got to think about that one.
Okay, we'll think about it. I'll throw that to Neil as well when we go to him. I'm sure he already knows, has one in his mind. But okay, here. Yeah, I know. I know. It's already Seinfeld. Yeah, I already know that. Set up there. But okay, we're going to play this short. If the futures break, man, we've got the big names on that we want. The only thing is right now is, do I get out of this? And I know you're into JP Morgan. We've already made those tops. Wow, it went to, hello. I didn't realize it went to actually one. Ooh, wow, it went to 120. We had a $3 plus winner there on JP Morgan, and I spit in its face. But yeah, I should not have done that, as that was a good little take there. I'm going to put an offer at 129, man. If it rips back up there, I'm going to go hallelujah and get out for a $3 winner on JP Morgan. But right now, as we talk, the market is trying to fade back in. I'm really happy with the position here. Maybe if I go take like a 1-minute walk around, it'll stop me from getting out. But right now, Apple is nicely 30 cents in the money on a decent position for me. More shares than I had yesterday on this name. And then NEO starting to fade back into the downside here as, excuse me if you hear, like, I'm trying to chug this water as much as I can today because my throat's actually feeling a lot better now that I'm here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, NEO, Arun starting to elevate to the downside. I know you have some shorts that are working for you as well, but this is a nice trade.
Yeah, HBQ has now gone in the money. JP Morgan, like Sean mentioned, was north of 129, now 20 cents in the money. Dow, the 2 longs, even with this market coming down, Dow and Walmart holding strong. $1.20 on Walmart, Dow 6 cents in. We're waiting for, Crowd is taking me for a ride. I'm short just underneath 230 on Crowd. Yeah, I decided I wanted to take a run to the upside, but we are working 230s pretty much. It's a wide, Crowd is my biggest risk short that I have on the table because of the range I'm working with. I'm looking at the failed break north of that high from the early, I guess, April the 1st or whatnot. The attempt here, and then trying to take a look at that 240 goes back all the way to November. This is a range I wanted to play. I knew the risk was going to be super high on taking a shot on Crowd. So this is me trying to work from 230 all the way up to 240 on the short side for Crowd. So that's going to be a wide range shot on the short side. But we are looking for a huge run. If we get this moving, we are looking for a huge run into that 220 area and change. So it's still 1-to-1. It's just the risk is absolutely nuts on Crowd. But that's out $1 after taking a shot to the upside as the market now comes back in to 43.95 and to the downside. So the biggest loser right now I'm sitting on is Upstart, technically fine, but not responding as much to the market as, say, Crowd is. So we are waiting for these markets to get going. I wish they had gone a little bit more, but they didn't. Here we are going to the downside. Wait this one out. Neil, what's happening now?
As you said, the market market's trying to figure it out. The NASDAQ did get up to 0.5% there a little bit after a bit of a bounce. Bed Bath & Beyond made a bit of a bounce here. Look, they had a big loss, obviously, and comp sales were down heavily. Some very, very negative comments out of the conference call as well, but they had that squeeze potential. They were down as much as 12%, now recovering to down 5%. A bit of a curl I know you were talking about just now, Arun. Also, Delta with a big beat in expectations. They're expecting they're going to go profitable in the next quarter, but a smaller loss than expected for the current quarter. They're up 4%, was a little bit higher earlier. PayPal made a bit of a bounce with the market. They were down heavily with the CFO, John Rainey, leaving the company for Walmart in exactly the same role. PayPal shares have bounced a couple of bucks here, but still down 3.5%. Market's still going a little bit sideways, but there's lots of in-play names. I'll throw one more out for you. Tesla got to that $1,000 mark. Hard rejection of it. Looks like it might make another couple of tests at that key level.
I'm looking through the board. I'm like, can I get these fills on some of these names still? Apple, I've decided that, after this move, I don't want Apple anymore, so we're going to remove the Apple order. The PayPal order, man, I guess I could have moved down. I don't even know anymore because the high was 105.42, and I'm sitting about 40 cents from there. And now I'm thinking 105 might have to be it, but I also don't want to put up $6 in risk on PayPal. Given the way it's been moving, what the potential is. It's not like a crowd type of position, right? Crowd has a ton more potential than PayPal does at these prices and in terms of the technical setup. So I'll leave this PayPal order out here for a little bit longer, but if we don't get filled in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm not going to take this PayPal position. We're just going to cancel that. We'll just ride the 7 that I've got here. The 7 of them, even on the short side, they're not. Some of them are pulling back a little bit here. JP Morgan's been flirting with that 129, so that's kind of expected. But Upstart and Crowd catching buy-side momentum to the upside, even with the technical setups that we got and the futures coming back a little bit more. Futures may need to pull back a little bit closer to that 85 low that we had off the open. So if we get that, I think you're going to start to see some of these stocks go with it at that point. The pressure is going to be there to get them going. But for the time being, they've got their own little strength. Those two specific names to the upside.
Yeah, JP Morgan back into the money, so we'll go bang for that one. A nice little $3 winner for JP Morgan as it's still making moves to the high side. So yeah, I didn't put an offer there. I'm going to wait for JP Morgan. I think we can get $4 or $5 on this. I think we can get up to 130. So let's wait to see if that does happen. One name that I'm pretty happy where we cleaned it out at was Apple, man. We got a 62 fill down there, right? So that was a big fill for me. Now you're coming back in. We have to regroup here on Apple as it looks like it is going to take out that 168.50 level very, very soon. It's so strong right now. Like normally I'd be like, okay, let's average back in here, but I don't think we want to do that right now for this Apple trade. So we're going to get out if it does take out this 160. I mean, it almost did right there, this 168.60 level to get out of Apple. But the thing that's working for us definitely is NIO. That short is really, really going to the downside now. So NIO, look at those takes, man, 55. All these trades came right back into VWAP. So that's where I started to empty most of them. And there we go again. Awesome. As JP Morgan, man, we took that trade. A couple nice longs there on JP Morgan, still holding this bad boy. Let's see where it goes from here. Looks like we'll get stopped out probably on Apple soon, but that is what it is. Let's go to the long side now and see what Neil's talking about. Maybe there's a breaker somewhere.
Oh, there's a break. Veru is back, and it just broke 11, taking it fresh and big volume high as well, taking out this key 11 area. That was a big level in yesterday's trade. That's where things rolled over to the short side. So Veru up 13%, but remember where it's come from. It got as high as 15 after that initial squeeze on the positive COVID-19 drug result there. So look, it's back. It's nowhere near those highs, but breaking out on huge volume.
Volume, and I actually saw you guys talking about it in the chat. I'm like, ooh, 11 even, I want that. So I've got a bid down there, see if I can join you guys and grab some Veru longs against the 10 even. So $1 risk to take a shot, see if we can get a move back towards that 14. What is that, 15? I think we put it on the high side. So 14, 15-ish, that would be ideal. But I am going to try to get as close to 11 as possible. I know there's a lot of eyes on this, obviously. So that move up into the 50s that I saw just now, that might be a little too... everyone's just trying to get the shares now. So I'm going to wait a little bit, see if it calms down and get it closer to 11. Man, crowd, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be this strong at these prices. Around 230, I was looking for it's picking up strength instead of losing strength. So I don't know what crowd's got going here, but it is up 4.86% and running strong into these mid 230s, which is the area that I was looking for resistance, and they are chewing through it. If there is resistance, they're chewing through it, which is a problem because this is, again, like I said, this is my biggest risk position on, right? So if we don't get a turn here, this is going to be costly, very, very costly. The other ones, they're stable. HPQ,
Are you long crowd?
No, I shorted crowd.
Oh, you shorted crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got that news the other day there, so watch out for that play. But, okay, so we're going to be into another name here, and that is going to be, we'll hit that sort of new siren alert here. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I do like that Veru call, though. I think that that's one that we have to look at, and I'm glad that you're looking at it as well today. You do not need to pay for shorts. I do not believe we did not have to yesterday. But, okay, the new position alert is for AMD right now. I'm not going to worry too much about my NEO trade as it appears to, oops. Here goes, I was going to say, AMD, we're going to get out if it takes out 97. Sorry, why am I talking about 98? Did I put the wrong order in there? Yeah, I did. Actually, I was waiting for 98s there. So let me regroup here a little bit on AMD. What was that high there? 97 and change just got taken out there for AMD. So again, we are into this position. It's an aggressive move to the north side today for AMD. We may have just failed that, but I did put the wrong price in there. My out's supposed to be 97. We wouldn't have got ticked out there, but we are going to respect that 97.11 level there that just got made. So no, don't stop hunt me or anything like that, but that's sort of where we're going to wait to see if it takes out 97 one more time, give it a little bit more juice to the upside on that one, and then see if it does fail at those levels. So right now, AMD, again, off of some aggressive moves here. Let's see. Okay, AMD. Yeah, I'll take a 50 level if we can get it right there. Put some of this money in our pocket right now. Attaboy, AMD. Attaboy. Crack now for AMD. We just went short. Like, there's 50 cents right there for you on AMD on that move. So we'll take it out at 40 again right there for AMD. As, yeah, we're rocking and rolling right now. NEO, see you later, alligator. Hopefully that can come down to the downside. My kids must be saying that more and more because I've said that like 10 times here in the last week. I don't know what's wrong with me. I apologize. But right now, we're going to hold out. I love how you're so casual. That's how I know, like, let's hold these shorts. Yeah. Let's relax a little bit here and see what does happen. So AMD, a nice little short here for me, especially if this market fades right now, Arun. I like the positions that I'm in. We've got Apple to the sell side. That's 20 cents in the money. We've got AMD, 50 cents in the money. We've got JP Morgan. Keeps failing at 129. So, hey, man, honestly, this time I'm going to take it 120, or will I? 129 right there. And then we love the short in NEO. That does not seem to want to get going, man. Now the high seems to be 75. So I have gotten some more shares out here on NEO, but hey, I'm willing to let this thing fly now, or I guess fly. Take a move back down to the downside and see if we can test something around here, 1930, 1940, something like that. I'm going to put some bids in case we do get that epic flush.
Yeah, I'm looking at this market coming back now towards 90. I'm going, crowd, what are you doing? Did you not get the message? Let's go. Because I'm noticing everything else turning around, right? We've got HPQ now 20 cents in the money. JP Morgan's back in the money, 30 cents. Upstart, which was out $2, is now 90 cents out. And Bed Bath & Beyond also doing the same. And then crowd just, nope, don't care. We're still at 234, which is $4 out. So I also picked up Veru longs, by the way. I picked them up at 11.21. I'm putting about $1.20 in risk. We'll see what it's got to the upside. The setup is there. It's worth a shot at $1.20. It's worth the risk given what the upside potential is. So why not take the shot? It's it's all over the place. It's already done 25 million shares, and we're 40 minutes into the day. So we're waiting for this market to get going either to the downside so I can work some new levels. At this point, preferably to the downside, because clearly the move up on the futures didn't go high enough to get me working shorts on the futures. So now at this point, I don't want it to go back up. I'm already positioned into quite a few shorts as we were running up the first time. I do not want to be caught in more shorts as we keep going up again, or if we decide to go up again. So I'd rather we just, at this point, just fall off a little bit. I have 3 longs, yes. Walmart's protected. Dow is 54 cents in the money. And then Veru we just got into, which is 6 cents in. But then what I care more is the shorts, right? My HPQ shorts, my JP Morgan shorts. Let's get Upstart and Bed Bath & Beyond going. And the big one, crowd. If we can get crowd going, that'll be a huge winner as well.
All right, so I'm reloading AMD right now just because it's up to 97 one more time. So we take some profit out. Right now we've locked it in, so it's not going to be a negative trade for us. But at the same time, we are thinking lower, else I wouldn't have just sold more right there. We're at the 50 period right now. I thought I had a bid there in the 50s. Oh, I do. It just didn't get there. Okay, so if this comes back in, we'll get filled up a little bit in the 50s again as we've just started danced around this 50 level. The lowest we actually got was 28, which was a 50-cent winner for us. But again, we're not exposing ourselves to too much risk here. If it takes down this 97, then we'll get out of the trade. So that's, you know, we're giving ourselves like 25 cents worth of risk. Both of these takes were 25 cents, and that was 35 cents. So far, so good. But again, like our Apple trade, like if it doesn't continue to go to the downside, we're going to have to get out of these for losers. The real big name that's been working for us and that continues to do that is NEO. That's another name. JP Morgan, man, great hold on the short as that bank came right back in again. So, you know, wow, why we didn't take that 5 or 6 times when this looks like it's been a top. Not only that, it was also right here. That was the shelf that it made before it fell through. So, I mean, that 129, definitely, if we get that again, like, yeah, we'll take it the second time around. And I don't really like the longs or anything. I've talked about where I want to get long, and it's down here. It's probably similar to where you're going to be getting out, some of these day lows. So if it comes back down there, that's what we want to look at. A name that's still rocking, I thought I just saw AMC. Yeah, AMC, a nice move. Yesterday, we were shorting in the AMC. We went long and short, and AMC actually yesterday was a fine symbol for us. But yeah, big move to the upside here. What are these levels? Like, what's happening? AMC's high yesterday, 1850. Maybe we get there. That could be something to look at. But yeah, strong name today, up 4%. AMC pullbacks back into 1770, anywhere like this little cluster right there. I think we like AMC long. If you get it back into this area, we have support from the 50, and we have support from the VWAP. So down into 1770 for me is a long here on AMC. It's just got to get there first.
Yeah, I see in the chat, people talking about like how wide of a stop I use. It's just the way I trade. I use extremely wide stops. Yesterday I used a 35-point range on the futures, right? So that's just my approach to trading, and that's just also depends. If you're trying to scalp, obviously these ranges or these large risk profiles don't make any sense. But if you're trying to position up, you kind of have to, because it's very hard, especially on crowd. You can't trade with a $1 or $2 stop. It's going to be very difficult unless you're scalping. At which point you're momentum trading, which is completely different, right? So if you're trying to position trade on these type of names, you've got to use a stop that's appropriate for the name. And if the stock is giving you a chart like this, yeah, you kind of got to put up the risk. So here we are, crowd still going to the high, damn it, crowd, of course. But JP Morgan in the money, $1 now. We've got Dow 68 cents in the money, Veru 10 cents in the money, Walmart $1.30 in the money, JP Morgan, like I mentioned, $1, and then HBQ 10 cents out. Bed Bath & Beyond still is kind of flirting with that $1 out mark. So it's still catching strength above that 1750. So we're going to have to back off and let it do its thing. And then Upstart $2 out. And then Crowd, of course, catching a new bid, now breaking 235 to the upside and still going strong. It's been green since the open, which is rather unhelpful.
Yeah, no, that gap is still motoring too. We're about to get out. It's a profitable day for us, but again, it's not going to be profitable on Apple as it's taking out the highs. As here goes the market right back to the upside. So yeah, today's an aggressive day long, I would say, so far. Anyways, I know you're battling with that crowd strike. We just got out of Apple and out of AMD, and a small little reverse into the long on both of these names now as we take out some key levels there on the upside. But I'm gonna flatten some of these out and then regroup because I do want to put on some names here, but I didn't realize the NASDAQ would be pumping up 1% today. Go Apple with a 30-cent long now as we reversed it into that long, and AMD as well, a nice little winner into the long. So yeah, the market's starting to take off here upside. We got to find some longs now, man. This market's taking off. What's up, Neil?
American Airlines up 10% now and screaming higher. Like the good news out of Delta clearly making American run a little bit better. They had some news with Expedia, some more offerings. Southwest is also up 7%. So if you're looking for where some of the strength is, LUV and AAL just absolutely booming. And you're right, Gap continues to go. It broke 15. It is just rumors. It's activist rumors on Gap. Nothing confirmed just yet. But those three names, Southwest, AAL, Gap, screaming to the upside right now.
Yeah, Dow. It's just like Dow was flat for a while, and now it's like 80 cents in the money and still going strong. Remember, we took Dow with a where's the stop on the not stop the chart? Okay, I'll pull up this chart then. We took Dow here around 40 off the open, right? And then now here we are finally getting going on Dow. We held this even as the market came down and still going. If we can get through 41.50, this opens the door to the upside by quite a bit here. So we are waiting around 42 for the first exit or so. But 41.5 needs to be taken out. Usually by the time we get to this point, I can move the stop and protect a little bit. In the corner of my eye, I'm just looking at crowd, which is going to be a problem because crowd is still picking up strength. And now it's, ugh. All right, crowd now at 238. This is going to be bad on crowd, damn it. Okay, so crowd still going strong to the upside. Everything else is stable except for crowd. I don't know where the strength is coming from today. I would love to know if there's anything else coming out on crowd apart from the news that you talked about. Let me pull up the news services actually, see what we got here.
Oh, back to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying to fill out some notes here about what we're going to do. So, yeah, okay. All right, NEO. So, again, we did get blown out here on AMD. Not blown out. I mean, Apple went to the upside. I'm going to try to take out some AMD here as we go. But, the shorts were working fine until they weren't. But we were able to get some out on both of these names to the downside before eventually, basically flattening both Apple and AMD as we tried short side, man. And then there's the out. We reversed a little bit into the long. And then just noticing, I mean, Apple's right at those levels that you were talking about, that 169.20 or so area. So that's coming in for sure. Yeah. Oh, I see what Neil's going to say right now. What's up, Neil?
You do? Arun was asking about CrowdStrike. I did want to mention here, they were upgraded by Goldman. We know this, but German Federal Cybersecurity Authority recommends CrowdStrike as a qualified APT response service. So that was the news just now out of CrowdStrike, but also the Bank of Canada with its 50 basis point rate hike just now. So, yeah, it's not only the Fed around the world. There's other central banks that are raising rates. So the Bank of Canada just made their big move.
Yeah. That's the news I thought you were going to come with. So yeah, Bank of Canada, BOC, making some moves right now. So anybody with mortgage, variable rate mortgage in Canada gets dinged with 0.5% up. And I think that might have been the first time. I don't think they did it last time. So did they? But I don't think they did 50 the first time.
No, I think they did quarter.
Right. Okay. So now they're starting to take note, like the U.S. did with that quarter point high or 50-point hike. There's AMD, so we'll go on that one. Slap shot on the long. But at the same time, the market is teetering near these highs. So guess what, man? We are now like locked and loaded into this. We'll see if we can have some diamond hands. But right now, NEO, average price 93. It just ticked to 20. Not good. It's coming to the upside right now. And I don't know. I kind of need to get out of this one so we don't experience what we did a couple days ago. But we're at this 2010 level that I'm debating there as the out. So 2010, again, if this market keeps screaming to the upside, then yeah, NEO. Again, it's my biggest position. It's my biggest winner today. So let's try to have a good read on it. We read it yesterday, like a glove pretty much yesterday off the open. If I can zoom in and find that, it was right into here where we came up to 20 again and then shorted it. The difference yesterday was that high was 2030. So yeah, I cannot hold this position into 2030. So that's just, hopefully it can come back in and then we can get some out. And then if it does hit back up to the upside, we'll be able to reload that. But right now, not nervous, but definitely on my mind right here is NIO as it's kind of dancing around near some of these highs. If the market breaks, then yeah, this position is going to be a sour one for your boy.
All right, an update. Remember, Vero, thank you to you guys. You guys pointed out it was moving. I took a quick look. 11 even break. I'm on board. 11:21 is where I'm at, and we actually got going here. We got close to 12. Damn, we got real close to 12. We have upside potential. I'm looking at 12.50 as a potential exit point. I'm going to hold on to this one. I'm not going to, rush for the exit, even if it comes back down, because I do like the 11 long against the 10 even, and see if we can't get it to 12.50. So it's like a 1.5 to 1 payout if I get that. And we're just going to let that one go. JP Morgan looking good after failing that 129 multiple times. We're looking good on the short side on JP Morgan. HPQ is fine. Walmart. Okay, Walmart wants to take a second leg after taking a break to the downside here. We are long down here. It's not even actually on this one, but we are down at 153. Where is Walmart? Let me pull this one out for you guys. Walmart, we're long at 153 in the pre-market.
I like that. We're long
a few fills down there, got some. And then here we are getting that 155 exit. And then it came back down to 154, trails at 153.50. And now it's taking a look again. If we can get going north of those highs, that 155.50, yeah, we got some space on Walmart. And we're going to go to Neil at the big screen with small cap recap.
Small cap recap time. And Arun, you did just mention Veru there. It got through that 11 break. It's setting up for another $12 break. Now remember, this got as high as 15. That's going to be the big level if it ever gets there again. It was a big time rejection the last couple of sessions. So still room for it to go. It's all about the low float there. I mentioned to you guys Create ID was making a bit of a run back when it was at 120. I tried short twice before it broke 150. It then did a wick off top at 150. Got to like 165, and then a hard rejection came right back in. Now the short through 140 is starting to work. If it holds a $1.30 here, it has a chance to regain some of those highs. But if we break down, you'll be right back at about 110 to 115 very quickly. No specific news on that one. And last, this is the one we mentioned right before the open, BCTX there, guys. It did get to that lower high at the 125, pop and fade off of that 125 level right at 9:30. It actually broke the low and is back into yesterday's support level. So once 10 went, it's screaming right down to that $9 range. So lots definitely moving. I think Veru is certainly back in the cards. All bets are off. If it breaks 15, remember, that stock is fully capable of halting multiple times.
Yes, can Veru do the same thing? Let's go.
I was just going to look at Veru. You're in that name,
I'm in
right?
at 1120. 1121.
What's it at now?
It's 1190.
Ooh, okay.
I'm about to take a look at 12. I'm offering some in front of 1250 though, to be fair. I do want to cash out some so that I'm not sitting on the entire position and going, hey, you know what? That one that gave me a 1-to-1 payout, I didn't take anything out on. So I'm actually looking to get some out if we can get north of 12 into 1250. But we're going to let that one give it as much space as it needs. And that's my whole thing when I trade, right? I'm not too tight with my stops. I'm very loose with my stops because I will give each stock how much space it needs to move. If it's too expensive because I need it, you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's a lot of space, then I won't take it. Simple as that. But if I'm not going to go in there saying, you know, I'm only going to put a $1 risk profile or a $2 risk profile for this stock because it may not apply to this stock. It may work on a different name, but it may not apply here. So each name is going to need its own little profile. Hence why I don't trade Tesla, because Tesla is going to need a massive risk profile, which I no go on Tesla for that reason. Tesla, Google, Amazon, no thank you. I will stay away from them. If they get cheaper and the volume tightens up, then I can be more confident. But for the time being, we're just going to sit on these ones that I've got. We've got JP Morgan 76 cents in, HPQ 5 cents in, and then we got the three longs, Dow, Veru, Walmart, all in the money. The ones that are out, Upstart, Bed Bath & Beyond, yeah, obviously, right? Short against that huge run up on Bed Bath & Beyond, and then CrowdStrike flirting with these 235s, 236s. Still trying to figure out. I mean, stalling in this area is good because this is the area that I wanted to work with. Between 230 and 240 is where I was expecting resistance. We just had a ton of strength to go from that 225. That was the problem. But now we're kind of starting to stall out a little bit. It gives me a little bit more hope that we have a chance here. But again, this has got a lot of strength with it being up 5.2% on the day. There goes 12, almost 12 actually on Veru.
Yeah, 12 on Veru is a nice one. I'm going to enter the building here on Bed Bath & Beyond because, I mean, it's right to that level. We were waiting for 1780. You just mentioned it there. So what's the point? It went to 17. I canceled by 1780. So I looked back and was like, it'd be a nice little short there if we could get it. So we'll take it right now. We are short here into Bed Bath & Beyond as now it's starting to come back down. So that was a good little move right there. We're short at 65. It just printed 50s. That's 15 cents out. We need a little bit more than that. Okay. So we're going to watch that. But right now, obviously, bigger problems right here because this is starting to go back to the upside, and we are not going to get fried on this position like we just mentioned before. For all you traders that are looking at NIO, it is now upside. If we just take another short now, that's it. We've still made, like, I can get out of my position right now, just hit the bid. or hit the offer and be up on this stock on the day. So I'm not going to stress this position, but it is upside. I was not expecting this to come here, so we are going to try to respect this 2015 or 2016 high right there, but we did put on another position on NEO, so we'll see if this one can work back in. My average price now is right here, so if we can start to get something out and take out some of this pressure before hopefully eventually falling down. And again, this is just like, see how Arun and I trading a little different style. I like to go in and out and scalp some of these trades and take a little bit more shares, yeah, that makes sense. And Arun obviously likes to be the guy that holds and gives things ranges, just like what's happening bang right now on Bed Bath & Beyond as we have that short right now that came through here. Sore throat, no problem, I guess. As Bed Bath & Beyond, a nice little 40-cent win as we start to take it out right now. We just shorted that thing. Let's see if it can get back in. VWAP would be pretty nice. 17 would be even nicer for right now. And then VWAP at 1680. So let's see where BBY goes from here. I am nervous, though, about this NEO position. It does not seem to want to go down. What's up, NEO?
There's been whipsaw action on Delta. I know you're talking about that, Arun, but there are some comments coming from the CEO on the conference call there. It says they urge the U.S. government to lift pre-departure testing requirements. They say that their domestic consumer revenues are exceeding 2019 levels, that March was the best cash sales month in history for Delta. They also expect to take delivery. I think it's a 70 new jets just this year. I understand that they're moving down, but remember, American Airlines is absolutely booming off of all of this news. And just to go back to Gap, I saw it in the chat and I replied to it. There is activist chatter in Gap, and it has an 8% short interest. There's nothing I see other than that, just activist chatter, and we know how that story can start. It can mean something. It can mean absolutely nothing, but the stock does have a decent short interest.
Yeah, I'm actually working my way out of Delta here. I don't like what happened on that move up towards 40.50 as we got to the upside here. Let me pull up that chart. There we go. We're completely out now. Here, this move. I noticed there was some resistance up here, right? I figured the technical on the daily was solid. I liked the approach of going long around 40, but I also saw there was a decent amount of action around that 41. But I'm like, you know what's pre-market? Let's not factor too much into that. Let's not give it too much space. We'll just work with the daily. We got that rotation off the 40, got a nice little bounce. And then they did this little move here, that quick snap down from 40.90 all the way into 40.50. I'm like, that's fine. That's okay. That's expected as we approach it for the first time. But then it continued sell after that. I'm like, okay. At this point, I don't want this anymore. Give me my 17 cents. Let me walk away from this because Dow was solid initially, but now it's starting to stall out here north of 40. Remember, I'm trying to risk $2 to make $2. Do I want to do it here at these prices with that action? The answer is no. So you know what? I'm going to walk away from Dow, take my money, walk away. That's the first one I've cashed out on the day. That's the first time I've gone flat on a position. Every other position I've taken has not been cashed out. Actually, no, that's a lie. Walmart, I cashed out some for $2. But apart from Walmart, Dow is the first position I'm going flat on. So everything else I'm holding. I've got HPQ from this morning, JP Morgan, $1.40 in the money. Bed Bath & Beyond now coming in. That's 56 cents out. That's a good thing because it was out a lot more than that at one point. As futures is now flirting with the 4,400. It's back and forth around 4,400. So it's got to decide what it wants to do. For JP Morgan, though, if we can go to my screen and pull that lower third off, guys. Yeah, so JP Morgan, if we can get south of 126.50, now I can bring the stops down. For the time being, we were working this area, 128.50, obviously went to 129 and change. That's fine. Now if we can get through that 126.50, now we just cracked 127. If we can get through 126.50, it allows me to at least put in a stop somewhere in the mid 127s. So I'm protecting myself from a possible false break through the bottom and coming back in, right? That's what you want to avoid. So JP Morgan is looking like it wants to take a look at the lows. If it does put in new lows, I would love to take a look. Lulu alert went off. Lulu strong, north of 390. Man, here's the issue. I love Lulu's setup, especially off the daily. The issue is I'm already in a high risk short on Dow, not on Dow, on CrowdStrike. So it was either going to be CrowdStrike or Lulu, where I was going to put up a decent amount of risk to take the shot, but since I'm already committed to the CrowdStrike short and I already got a decent amount of cash tied up there that I don't want to put another large position on, that high-risk position on Lulu on the long side. But for anyone watching, 390 break on Lulu is going through right now. Neil.
Bioventura continue to make some strong moves with also, it just came out of a halt, but announces FDA approval of GmbH as a contract laboratory for Ameluz? I'm not even going to pronounce that right, but BFRI up 45% currently. You're going to watch on the daily chart. It gets to $6, and that's a pretty significant level. It did already have one halt. Looks like it's got a second halt in just now. So BFRI back in play. This had a run a couple of days ago that rejected it at $6 level. Looks like it has a chance to open up and test that almost immediately.
Yeah, 575, 565 projected open.
Geez, some of these names going nuts. So first of all, talk about going nuts right now. Like, as you were going there, and as Neil was talking, like, Neo came all the way down, man, and I was able to get out of these 07, some of them anyways, and by some of them, I mean a decent amount. I'm actually right now going to try to, like, maybe do the same thing here as we start to go back down to the downside on this trade as we reloaded that short up there. This stock is literally on crack. Like, I have no idea what Neo's doing right now. Up and down and around, and like, hold my beer, don't hold my beer. I'm going up, I'm going down. Like, this name is just nuts. So we're going to see what happens there. I thought I got an 06 bid there. Did I not just get that? No, I did not. So hopefully we'll get that in a minute there. 06 bid. Am I not bidding 06? No, I'm bidding 05s, my bad. I'm going to put another bid there at 06, get something out. But yeah, so we'll reshort that against that 2020 high. Let's see where we go on that one. But look at Bed Bath & Beyond right now. That is just coming through. And we just tweeted it out because look what we did on our sticky note, Arun. This is what we talked about. Short if it gets back to 18. So right now, man, patience pays. We take the sticky note. We also had the Microsoft long. We had the JP Morgan long off the sticky note. We had the AMD short up to 98, but that didn't get there. We got a little greedy on that one. And then Ford, we're going to have to take a look. But look at that BBBY right there. So we take our patience comes into play right now, and look where Bed Bath & Beyond is going right now. It is collapse city. Yeah, we'll take a bid there, cross that into that bid. We'll take that right now, 165, 66, whatever we got there. Actually, we crossed into 67. I guess we might have just sparked a couple buys there, but there it is, collapsing down to the downside. $1 on Bed Bath & Beyond. $3 on JP Morgan we had. We had a big winner as well on AMD before it went to the downside. And right now, Neo came back in a little bit. Again, we're still up. Like, this is what I'm talking about. You see how that just got faded in right there? Like, we just got those bids all the way down to 01s or 02s there before now retracing back up. So we'll reload the short again. I'm trying to hold on for a big move down. So that's what I'm trying to do. We just got some 6s again. We're short at 9s. Like, I'm going to keep on trying to get something out here because, again, it's just back and forth. If we can get back into the 90s, I think we'll try to empty more of the clip down there if that does come through. But, yeah, right now, give me some 04s. I'm at 04. I'm on paid gateways right now, so I'm not, like, taking these free fills. Every single trade I'm making here, I'm letting the market pay me. So we have the maker-taker model here at Day Trade the World where some gateways will pay us. So I like to use BATS, ARCA, EDGX. I mean, NASDAQ. I use them all. Really, it's just a matter of like whatever mood I'm in. Right now on a stock like Neo, it doesn't really matter. It's ripping through levels. Like right there, I was at 04. Look at that, just rips right through me and fills me. And then I get paid for that fill. So that's what we're doing right now. We might as well take some 02s as well. There it goes right through us. So this is going to be a big trade for me. We're watching out for this one. Now Neo coming back into the 90s. Let's take some more profit on this crack stock.
Talk about a name that's going nuts, BFRI, right? It halted. Projected open 6 even. We halted at 538. Projected open is 6 even. What's the time on this? It halted at 10:31, so it should be opening up in the next minute or so. No, 10:30. Yeah, 10:31 is the halt time, right? So if it's a 5-minute halt, it should open up at 10:36:01. So I'm on the NASDAQ Trader Halts page. So anyone wondering where am I getting this from? It's from here. It's from NASDAQtrader.com. It's their halt page that tells you the reason for the halt, and this one should be a little bit higher, but anyways, 10:35:01. So because it halted at 10:31:01, we're looking for 5 minutes. If not, it's going to be 10 minutes, at which point we'll kind of just push it to 10:40. I'm looking at this going, crowd, let's go, man, come on, let's go. At the same time, I gave up Lulu to stick with crowd, right? And Lulu is actually taking off to the upside. Lulu is now I think 91 when I last checked. Is it still at 91? Yeah, it's almost at 92 now. We're looking for the 390 break. As you can see, I have my lines already drawn out and looking for the 390 long. Can't take it though. Too much risk on the table already with these names. So for anyone else watching, there's a trade there for you guys. But here we go. No, it's not going to be a 5-minute open. Okay, I guess it's going to be a 10-minute halt on BFRI because that should have opened already if we were going through the 5-minute halt. So 10 minutes it is. We'll check back in at 10:41.01 and see what BFRI has for us. But as of right now, theoretical auction price 6 even with 172,000 shares to print. Neil.
Just another runner here. This HPK, I know you're all over that BFRI, so good luck there, Arun. HPK, high peak energy. They got a CNBC bump. It was, I believe it was Kramer was mentioning this last night, at least by the wires. Breaking out 25% to the upside on good volume on the daily. You are seeing it break 26 previous highs. Pretty volatile so far, but it is managing to hold above that. So in the midst of a breakout, HPK, only news I see was that mention by Kramer.
All right. Yeah, shout out to, I'm just about to retweet something here because this is the exact skit. So I'm going to say a big shout out to NBC SNL. I just want to make sure I copy them as well because here's that what's up with that tweet right now coming through. Okay, so we are still short right now on NEO. We did get some out. Next video coming, you want it, Pro Day Trader? Stocks that are on crack are your next video coming out very, very soon to a Trader TV Live website near you. But here it is. This is the skit right here, and it's what's up with that. It's absolutely hilarious. And this one, shout out to Jam on it with some fun things here. This is the skit, and this one actually has Samuel L. Jackson in it. So this is a hilarious one. So thank you for retweeting that. If anybody wants to take a quick look at that, check me on Twitter. Lots of fun stuff happening on that side of things. Okay, so we're just sitting in some winners right now and willing to get more into NEO as it just keeps on bouncing back and forth and around right now. So this is the stock that I'm looking at. Let's look at Ford quickly because this was another name that we had on our mind right here, getting to the upside for Ford. It hasn't done much today. Unfortunately, it's just barcoding, literally barcoding. Like, I've never actually seen Ford like this, where you just go up and down and up and down. So there's some kind of an algo or something on this name today, but Ford is inching to the upside. It doesn't look like we'll get near this 1560 level, or 1580, I guess, is the real level that we like. So if Ford does get into that spot, that's sort of where we like the long. But again, it's just because it's a breaker long. But other than that, Ford right now just kind of barcoding, to say the least here, and just doing nothing. So let's wait to see if that one can move. But down goes NEO just one more time, down to the downside there. This is why I trade and don't sing. But here we go, back down into 97 for NEO. The reload could have been at 10 there, so we'll understand that for next time. Let's put an offer at 10 this time. And look, this could still turn out to be nasty for us if it takes, we won't lose money like we've talked about, but if it does take out this 2020 level there, then we will get out of NIO. As you can see, the NASDAQ starting to fall, so maybe we do have something here. $1 in the money on Bed Bath and $1 in the money on JP Morgan, and really working this NEO trade right now. So I like what I'm doing. Let's see if NEO can fade out with the market here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Walmart going, hey, what can we do with Walmart because it went back to 155 after bouncing to 154, and we're positioned at 153 down here. I don't think I can move the stop on this just yet. We're not at the highs. If we got to the highs, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, we can put some stops in, but for now, I need to give it the space to move around, so I'm not gonna move too aggressively. That's the thing, right? You got to get you got to give the stop as required by the individual name. So if a high volatile name, high ranges, you got to give them wide stops. Walmart doesn't need a wide stop, and at the same time, you don't want to move the stops up too quick. Then you're cutting yourself from potentially as it takes off because you got caught in a whipsaw in the middle. You don't want to do that. That's how you cut your winners before they get going. So I'm trying to give it as much space as possible. We've already locked in about $2 on Walmart, but see if we can get a little bit more on Walmart before we move the stop so we can actually be more confident with the hold here. We'll go to Neil at the big screen with Sector Watch, and I see unhelpful things for my shorts here.
Unhelpful? Look, with the markets pretty strong, you're going to see some standouts here in green territory, and it's going to be the travel sector. American Airlines, we've already talked about this several times here, up 8%. You've got Southwest up 6 1/3. UAL, of course, up 4.5%. Oddly enough, Delta, who reported their earnings and had positive comments on the call, they're trailing. Only up 4% there, guys, and it doesn't really stop there because you've got strength as well in some of the retail names. Ulta Beauty doesn't really matter. Etsy up 1.7% as well. Consumer services led by more travel names. You've got CCL up 4% there, NCLH 4%, Expedia up 4%. Don't sleep on Qualcomm. NVIDIA, AMD, 4%, 3%, and 2.5%. AMAT's up 2%. Micron's up 2%. Some strong movement in the chip names, rebounding from yesterday's action. Okay, not everything is rosy. Financials haven't been terribly strong this morning, of course, on the heels of JP Morgan's earnings. We do get several other big banks coming through tomorrow. Schwab, however, is bucking the trend, up 2.5%. Even Berkshire's down 1% in today's trade. In the fintech, PayPal is going to stand out. Of course, they had their CFO leave. For Walmart, they're going to be down 3% in the midst of strength within their particular sector. Consumer staples, pretty mixed board as well there, guys. Note Philip Morris looking a little bit strong, but for the most part, been pretty weak across the board. Twitter, which we have not mentioned once, sort of sleeping in the news here today, after the strength on the Elon news, they're up 3.8%, showing a ton of relative strength. Alphabet less than 1% into the upside, but really the big story has been that travel sector. Worth noting, along with those names, Moderna has had a strong day as well, up 4.5%. So there is a lot moving. Not on this board, of course, is going to be Gap, which is just going absolutely crazy. But it is all about these travel names here today, whether it's the airlines or even the cruise lines.
Travel names.
Some names in the building. Yeah, we talked about AAL earlier, and you guys remember AAL when we first, whoops, too many L's, too many A's. AAL, when we first started talking about this to you guys earlier on in the morning, remember it was only up 4.5% at that time, and I was like, you know what? DAL reports, AAL's coming soon. That was a good one for Delta. Probably something similar coming for American. So there it is, a nice, beautiful move to the upside. And look what we're doing, man. All we're doing is respecting this 50 period right here. So comes down in, bounces off 1850. That's what this purple line is, or pink line. I don't know how it shows up on your screen, but this is VWAP, the darker line. I think you guys, you can probably see that okay. Maybe I'll change that because I didn't realize how that looks, but I think it looks okay. But anyways, respecting that line, something to look at for sure. Okay, we are now officially into NIO here. So again, like down and up, like as the futures move around here, it appears that NEO, honestly, at this point, I'm going to have to throw in the towel on that 2020 break. It's stronger than I thought. It keeps resisting the move down. It's respecting the 50 period every time it gets down here. We've been able to get at, like, this is, again, like the epitome of scalping, honestly, for me, really working out. These shorts are the only ones that aren't going to look like they printed, but they still did print. They still did print in here. But right now, we're taking these shorts again. And honestly, guys, like if I could just put some more bids here in, 7, 8, 9s. We just shorted again 14s, I believe that was, or what was that? I was just hitting instead of 4. You can get it again right now. 12s, 13s, 14s. Here it goes, man. An aggressive move up in the market means that this is what's going to happen with NEO. It's going to take off to that upside, take out 20 most likely. So, hey, we are going to be out of this name on a break, not averaging into this. You can see the strength here in NIO today, just ripping to the upside. We might as well take the opportunity. If I really do think this, man, why not just get out some right now if we can at 13, 14s, and then even a little bit more if we go to the downside. I feel like this is going to break. We could just sort of lick our wounds a little bit. We're out of the money. This is not licking our wounds. We're short at 12, and I'm getting out at 15. So it's not like that. It's just right here. I feel like this market is strong. And when we see that, see, here it goes. There's 20. It's going to take out 20. We're going to get out. So 20 is going to go out. We will hold a little bit for, a possible wick top there. But I really feel like it's going to test that 20. And I'm okay with this. It's based out fine. It'll still be an up name for us. But yeah, we definitely didn't take out enough down here. But we can't predict that this is what's going to happen. So, hey, if you're here to make money, which we are, sometimes you got to hold something against the fire a little bit, which we're doing here with NEO. So let's see. Maybe it works and we're able to cash out a little bit. We just took some relief out at that 14. Then we took some 12. So here we go. Now we can sit up in our desk because it's starting to get a little bit spicy here. If it breaks that 10, we do want to get some more out, but it's looking like it will crack lower here. That is NIO.
Yeah, against the fire a lot.
Higher, sorry, not lower, yeah.
Against the fire a lot here on crowd as it continues its next leg back towards those 238 highs. Yeah, it's not looking good for crowd on the short side. It looks like they want to take a look at that 240. So we might be underwater on that one. Remember, we faded right into strength, and it looks like the strength continued right through that resistance level. So we're definitely in trouble. But to answer a question that someone had, it's like, oh, you saw one of your positions, which was instantly in the money as soon as you got in. That's because of the spread, right? The spread is going to be different on big name, on each name, and the more of a liquidity issue you have, the bigger the spreads. Prime example, Tesla. You go into Tesla right now, you're paying 60 cents on the offer versus the bid. So as soon as you market buy on Tesla, if you decide to market buy, which I highly suggest against doing, control your prices by using limit orders. But if you decide to go market buy, you're paying the offer, but the bid is 50 cents lower from what the offer is, right? So that's how you get instantly put out of the offside on your, as soon as you get in, you're out because of that, because of the liquidity issue. And then you go into something like Ford, market buy all you want because there's enough volume on both sides where the spread won't be larger than a penny. That's just a difference in volume, difference in interest. Tesla being the higher name, the higher up you go, the larger the spreads become. So specifically, let's take a look at Amazon. Amazon's a $3,000 stock. It's got a $3 spread. Surprise, surprise. You go up that high, you're going to get that kind of action where the spreads are huge. So be very, very smart when you decide to hit that market key. Very smart that you understand that if you do it in the higher price names with lower liquidity, you're instantly paying the spread and you're instantly going to get caught with the difference, and that's not going to be a good look. So my suggestion, that's my personal suggestion, if you really want it, be willing to pay an aggressive limit, but it's better off I personally just like to bid my way through and get it, but that's if you have the ability to actually do it through maybe a computer or whatnot. If you're doing it through your phone, I understand it's a little bit tougher to control your prices, but still, just be smart about how you use your market orders.
Yeah, so you're going to like this one, Fahad. Tarian here, now on the SEC's sharehold threshold security list. So we've seen this be a catalyst in the past for heavily shorted names. Of course, it doesn't always mean the stock is going to squeeze. But it's going to point out this is the reason for the recent spike. Just now on volume, it broke through 550, which was the aftermarket high, and making a fresh high on that news. We've seen AMC run when it has been sort of constantly on that threshold list. But ATER just got added. Big level coming up, guys. That's $6. You go all the way back to December. That high, it got cut in half rather quickly when it rejected it. So that is incoming. I think that's why you're seeing a bit of a turn here off that $6 level.
Yeah, we're getting ready to rock and roll here for the afternoon show. Only 10 minutes left on this show right now. But thank you. Again, thank you to Liz. Liz has been our new hire for social media. She's definitely sending out a lot of clips. Check us out on Instagram. Check me out on Instagram. Check me out on Twitter as well. I'm going to post something that we talked about yesterday on my Twitter account very, very soon. We were talking about real money and trading and so on and so forth. So if you want to listen to that little rant, that's coming out soon. But okay, one last time for the reload, man. And again, we did exactly what we thought we'd do. This is not a rune style of trading, but we've given this a little bit of room now, Neo. We are now into our final trade. I have no more scalps to get out of this. This is either going to rip up and take down that 20, which is fine, or we come back and I just let this thing flow back down. So all these scalps eventually aren't going to make any sense because there's too many outs here. And if it rips up at this point, it's only going to be an 8-cent hit. So well worth it on the account to be able to hold this. So you're going to watch out for that. I did also want to, if the market, again, if we're able to get it, We got out of Apple here on that break, right? That was fine, but I feel like it's definitely building out here to get to the downside. I mean, Apple's weaker than the market today. We've noticed that the last couple days with Apple. We talked about Shanghai. They may be the largest impact of the shutdowns and the lockdowns in China. Because they're one of the biggest. They are the biggest company in the world, but they are affected the most by China. Tons of sales. Tons of supply chain over there. Foxconn we've talked about. We've talked about also their stores being shut down there. Let's just keep going with Shanghai and everything. So I feel like this is going to be the name. That's why part of I'm surprised what NEO is doing, but hey, that looks like it's going to take out 20 right now. We can go over to NEO here. If this takes out 20, we're gone. So just so you guys know, that's going to be the last straw for me on this trade. We're able to get out of the way, which is really good. Like if I held this all the way up and didn't take any of these outs, this would be one of those natural disasters again for me today. But there it is. It breaks through. We get out at 21. We take it. That's that. Good trading for NEO today until this last one as we break higher. Maybe it's a long. I'll do some work on that. But right now, let's go over to the big screen with Neil and Money Talks.
Money is talking to the upside, at least if you're talking cryptocurrencies. US dollar showing a little bit of strength once again. I don't know why that's a preview. You guys are getting a little bit of a preview. We got a surprise coming through. I thought we were going to keep it a surprise, but there you go. That's a big hint. You saw Tony the Tiger. You also saw one of our traders on the floor there who's going to step in, as you know, Prad feeling under the weather and Miss V. So we're going to have some new ones for you. Should be exciting. You'll be excited if you hold, well, I mean, hopefully you're excited if you hold some Bitcoin or some Ethereum back above key levels, both up about 3%. I think the key thing here is bouncing off that 3,000 mark and breaking out of previous resistance on Ether. Bitcoin doing something very similar at that 40,000, but not nearly as strong in terms of the levels that it's starting to take back out here again. So crypto trying to make a rally as the market is picking up at least some of those risk assets as well. So good look here for Bitcoin.
The things that I did while you were talking, Neil, was getting out of Veru. I got out in front of 50. I was like, yeah. And now it goes to 12 and takes out 12. Really, though? Really? Like it was not even a thing. Not even 2 minutes ago, I got out. I'm like, you know what? I don't like what's happening here. Let me walk away from it. And then 2 minutes later, boom, through 12 and now into 12.20. And my initial offer was like at 12.47, whatever. Anyways, we're done, Veru. I took my 20 cents, 25 cents or so, walked away from Veru. I just didn't like what was happening. So I'm cool with that one. I made my read on that one and then walked away. Dinesh, I saw you talking about Upstart. Yeah, Upstart's coming back in a little bit now. Finally, we got going on Upstart. Although it's still out of the money, but the setup is looking much nicer now. We're short at 84, but this move, that little failed push through that 87 right into that consolidation from yesterday afternoon. Yeah, it's looking pretty good at those prices. So we are finally looking good on Upstart after catching an offer here at 84, looking good initially, and then taking a run all the way up to 88, and then coming all the way back down to 85 now. So Upstart turning around a little bit. And what do we got here? JP Morgan still bouncing. Bed Bath & Beyond still 40 cents out. Walmart $1.70. HPQ has done absolutely nothing all day. I've been in. And I've been in a 5-cent winner. Yeah, this is HPQ's chart for the day. So imagine that, right? We're short at 38 even, and this market has gone as far as 37.80 and change, and then bounce back, bounce down, bounce back, and we're just waiting for that one to go out. And of course, I'm eating my words on Veru as it is now 12.15. Damn it. Okay, so that's $1 in the money, 12.21 now. It's $1 in the money that I missed out on after getting out of it. What can we do here with the other positions? Not a whole lot. I really can't do much. I'm going to have to wait for Upstart. I'm going to have to wait for Crowd and Bed Bath & Beyond to get going. Walmart, I'm protecting as much as I can. HBQ can't do anything with. And then JP Morgan isn't far enough for me to move my stop down. So we're going to have to let that one go as well.
Yeah, we're in reload mode now as we're looking to trade Apple. We have Bed Bath & Beyond, a nice little trade there as well. You might have heard Neil mention, Trader Prad and Miss V, both not here today. So it's the pepperoni man. It's Tony's going to be on the show, along with, as I see over there, Luca, and we've had some traders that have been on Trader Prad's show as well. So let's see what these guys can throw down. It should be a fun one. Arun, myself, and Neil will still be here as well, so that should be a fun one. So let's wait to see here how that show goes in just a matter of minutes now before we get ready to go over there. And I want to thank Juan and Maggie and Lucas and everybody there, as Tony is now, he's in the seat, baby. This is going to be a very exciting show. If you've never watched our midday show today or before, today may be the best show. So stay tuned for that one coming up right now. We did, just before we go over for the board, we did reload, man. We reloaded this Apple short. We talked about that. Arun saying I have to give it to 171, but I won't be giving it to that. I'll be giving it to this high here in the pre-market. While, I mean, it's just 169 and change. I just feel like maybe the market does a move like it did yesterday, whereby we start to fade out now that this morning is done. So let's wait to see. We do have a top side protection level here of like this 169.20, but hey, it's Apple. Anything can happen. It's a name that we like. We're still in the JP Morgan long, but we do have earnings on deck, and we talked about JP. I just sort of led that there. We have a great long in that name, and it's loaded with big banks, Neil.
Things are back. You're right. The big banks are going to be on there, but they're not alone because you got Rite Aid, you've got TSMC there, UNH also going to be reporting. So it's a pretty loaded board, starting to get some earnings come back in, which will be a very good catalyst for the market and a definite barometer for where we're headed the next couple of weeks.
All right. Ford CFO says EV margins are not where they need to be. Okay, Wells Fargo, Rite Aid, what was it, Goldman or Deutsche Bank or someone? Deutsche Bank has bigger problems than Rite Aid right now, but whoever downgraded those guys to zero, basically, we'll see what happens tomorrow when said report comes out there for Deutsche Bank or for Rite Aid. So that should be interesting. And then obviously, I'm all over those big bank earnings as I want to get longer into the banks, but this is the day I'm waiting for. Let's see where they report. Let's see how the market treats those names, and let's go from there. There must be something, Arun, before we go. Like, NEO is insane. It took out that high of the day. Normally, that's a break for me right there, right? You take that break and you watch it go. I don't have anything on, which is crazy, as it just takes out to the upside. So I guess all in all, man, we should have been short or should have been long NEO instead of short. But that's why the scalpers here, we take these profits so that when it does break to the upside, it's kind of like we wash our hands of it. But that's a great break. What a nice little move there. And just to see Ford, the CFO did come out there and say the EV margins aren't where they need to be. So we kind of know that about the EV space. Look, it took Tesla years and years and years to become profitable. So I don't know if Ford and all these guys are going to be able to compete with them. I think that's just another bonus for Tesla shareholders. Ooh, I like what we're talking about now. I get these up in Georgia. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about. It's a national day. Ms. V may not be physically here, but believe me, she's in the chat. She's here in spirit, and we would not have gone. I wouldn't have got through this morning if she wasn't promoting in and helping out a heck of a lot. So shout out to Ms. V. It is National Peach Cobbler Day, and if you don't like some peach cobbler, then I don't know what to say, because you get it a la mode, absolutely delicious. I'm with you. Georgia, probably the best place to get it, of course, the peach state, but there's no way to hate on this one.
Let's see. Hello.
Arun?
You hating on that? I'm all for it.
Yeah, good.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, we're all for that one. There's no hate for peaches. Like we said, a shout out to JB there on his Peaches song. I think that's what it's called. I don't know what it's called. Georgia? I don't know what it's called. But anyway, shout out to those guys. And shout out to everybody for watching us. Hit the like button if you haven't yet. I think it's been, again, another great show. And we, are very excited for what is about to come. I'm sure he's nervous, so let's treat these guys well, man. We're getting ready to rock and roll. We're here. It's going to be a good day, man. We've waited for this. It's Tony. He's going to be on the ones and twos.
You guys asked for it too.
You guys, look, the chat already. Tony is going crazy. They're very, very excited to have you on board here. And yeah, let's get ready to rock and roll here. It's our Midday Mover show with two new hosts. Let's see how they do. Let's kick it over now. Tony, take it, my man.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Midday Movers Show. My name's Prad, and this is my co-host, Valera, here.
Wait, what? Really. I'm not Valeria.
I'm not Prad. Unfortunately, Prad and Valera today are going to be out. They're not feeling so well, so we're going to be subbing in for them today, so it's going to be a real interesting show. But yeah, my name's Tony. This is my co-host, Brendan. It's going to be a great show today. Markets are coming back after a huge reversal yesterday. You can see that NASDAQ's up 1.03%.